Hey, here we go. It is, well, let me count it down. 3, 2, 1. It is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, December 17th. Nice to have you along for the final three shows of our time together here in the early mornings. Coming up today, we will be having our final edition of Homeroom, a little segment that got its start by talking to two of the biggest supporters of public education in Wisconsin, Heather DuBois Bourenane and Chris Hambuch-Boyle of the Wisconsin Public Education Network. And my conversations with them led us to a weekly segment. And so on this final weekly segment of Homeroom, those two are going to be my guests as we talk about, where we go from here to protect and strengthen public education in Wisconsin against, well, some very competitive forces, shall we say, that are out there. We'll also have Earl Ingram. We'll have Melissa Baldoff with our climate check. We'll have Ellie Bordeaux, who puts together our newsletter at Up North News. And we'll talk about that latest Vanity Fair article rocking the White House, and one last visit with Melissa Kay about Pigeon Quest. That's all coming up starting at 6:06. First, the news.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Wisconsinites can once again get help paying their heating bills after delays because of the government shutdown. The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program has started making payments. The heating season officially started November 1st, but the shutdown meant the federal government was not sending money to the state to fund the program. State officials estimate 185,000 households will get assistance paying their energy bills. The average one-time benefit for heat is expected to be $440. For people getting help paying their electric bills, that's expected to be $244. People all over Wisconsin have already started getting their benefits. Already, the state has sent out $40 million. Eligibility depends on the size of your household and your income. Families of four that bring in less than $73,000 a year qualify. Still, the program's future seems unclear. Back in April, the Trump administration fired 10,000 federal employees, including everyone in the low-income heating program office. Meanwhile, gas prices continue to drop. Melissa Kay brings us our weekly check of prices at the pump.
Average gas prices fell 5.3 cents per gallon last week. The average across the state on Monday landed at $2.51. This is 26.5 cents per gallon lower than a month ago and over 25 cents lower than this time last year. According to Gas Buddy officials, this is the third straight week of the national gas price average falling. It was at $2.85 on Monday, which is the lowest level we've seen the national average since March 12, 2021. They say the downward trend may continue as we close out the year.
On average, right now in Dane County, a gallon of regular will cost you $2.51. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
On to the Final Four. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Women's college volleyball. The Wisconsin Badgers in Kansas City for the NCAA Final Four, the tournament to decide the next national champion in volleyball. Mimi Collier, nominated for Player of the Year, on the team with a chance to win it all this weekend after beating the number 1 seed Texas in the regionals 3-1.
Most unreal feeling. It still hasn't fully soaked in, but I for sure think that was the most connected we've been throughout a match. Just keeping our heads up, and even though we lost that third set, we stuck with it and came back even stronger the fourth set.
Wisconsin plays Kentucky 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Coverage on ESPN. NFL, the Packers on the practice field. They play the Bears in Chicago Saturday night. Still bruised and banged up after the Broncos game. Running back Josh Jacobs dealing with swelling in his left knee that he injured last month in New York against the Giants.
He's battling through. This guy's as tough as they come. I'll never count him out of the fight, I'll tell you that.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Parallel parking in Madison? Impossible. Finding real conversation on the radio? Probable. With 92.7 WMDX.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow. Falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 33.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
A fresh perspective on the great outdoors.
What did you do this week that was fun? My weekly Wisco was actually going to be the snowfall. Now that's enough for the year. That's my opinion of it.
Now you're over it.
I'm over the snowfall. It is nice for hunting because you can see the animals a little more clearly, but I will take the end of the snowfall.
30 seconds left in a break.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06. It's a Wednesday morning. It's December 17th. We are 1 week away from Christmas Eve. It's another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Wissota. From wherever you're spending your mornings listening across the Civic Media radio network or catching us in all the various ways that you can find your way to Lake Wissota. Glad you could get the day started right here. I got a question for you. If you've been waking up on your own at 3:30 because your workday starts really early, but soon it won't, how long until you stop waking up on your own at 3:30, asking for a friend? That's all. Just want to kind of figure that out because we are in our final 3 shows here in the early morning. However, I hasten to add, there will still be ample reason for you to be listening next week and the week after, because we are putting together, it's Parker Olson who's doing this, putting together a palette of best of shows, highlights from 2025 to take you out through the rest of the calendar year. And it includes some new stuff that is sprinkled in there, some interviews that we just couldn't fit into this final week of the live show. So, I mean, there will be our usual end of the year visit with Joe Zepecki and Melissa Baldoff. Melissa will also be here later today for our weekly climate check. Joe Zepecki tomorrow, but we have our end of the year conversation with them. Laura Bird, our favorite author and book recommendation artist, will be telling us about some books that you can use to get motivated in 2026. We'll have Jeff Renicky from Friends of the Apostle Islands, who's going to talk about stargazing up north and ways that they're trying to enhance that further and attract some more tourists, even in the dark wintertime, to stare up at the night sky. And we have a special segment that is all about the candidates for governor and hearing them completely unfiltered through their campaign announcements so that you don't hear me yapping over them. They aren't 30-second commercials. You get to hear everything back to back to back to back to back from every candidate. That, and again, a lot of great stories and conversations all coming up next weekend, or next week, I should say, and the week after. And then a whole new clean slate of material here across the Civic Media Radio Network starting for 2026. All right, what's coming up today? Well, let's see. This is our final Wednesday, which means this is our final Homeroom segment. The Homeroom segment got started with some conversations I had from 2 wonderful people with the Wisconsin Public Education Network, Heather DuBois Bourenane and Chris Hambuch-Boyle. And by the time we were all done, what had been just a conversation about maybe doing a story or two turned into a weekly series about public education in Wisconsin and the threats to it and what taxpayers need to know about supporting public schools in Wisconsin. So on this final edition of Homeroom, it seems appropriate that Heather and Chris join me, and they will at 7:35, and we'll talk at that point again about the future of public schools in Wisconsin and what you all can do to make sure that your hometown schools are supported properly. Earl Ingram's going to be along. Of course, I mentioned Melissa Baldoff already. Let's see, Jimmy Koska, Civic Media Sports Director. And then our friend Melissa Kay, who often does visit with us on Wednesdays, used to visit, at about 6:50 on Wednesdays. Well, she's going to join us at 8:50 this morning because she's got different working hours now at WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids. But Parker Olson, again, producing this thing down in Madison at Studio A2. You have been working on a compilation of some of Melissa's visits, and then we're going to give a live update from her later this morning, about 8:50. But then at one point in our highlight shows over the next couple of weeks, I believe. Do you have the button ready? Are you ready to go there? Did you find it? There it is. We'll have Pigeon Quest one more time from Melissa later today. How fun was that to put together?
Oh my God, Pat! It was so hard to cut it down into 14 minutes because there was so much stuff. I forgot how much of a saga that was.
Well, I mean, it just kind of dropped into our laps. I mean, Melissa would visit with us along with other folks around Civic Media to tell us what was happening in their market, like Chad Holmes does in Wausau and, James Kelly in the Chippewa Valley. So Melissa Kay would join us to talk about what's happening in Wisconsin Rapids. And at some point, she just kind of drops casually, "Oh, and I'm getting a rescue pigeon."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? And
yeah.
And it was off to the races from there over a period of months as she, tried to secure and then house a rescue pigeon.
Including a oddly thorough background check?
A very thorough background check,
yeah.
Yes. So it made me wonder if this was some kind of a scam or something. But Melissa will join us live to tell us again how things have turned out with Lilu. And then again, at some point in the next 2 weeks in our highlight shows, you'll want to keep listening because Parker has put together the entire Pigeon Quest saga. I mean, if that wasn't a labor of love, if that doesn't deserve an end of the year bonus right there from Civic Media, I don't know what does.
I mean, jeez. Yeah, come on. That might have been the hardest I worked on anything, to be honest with you.
Are you now officially mocking me in these last 3 days, or are these actual plaid shirts from your closet that you're wearing?
No, these are actual. This is how I regularly dress, believe it or not.
No, it is not. You're usually in a hoodie or something whitewater related, or but you do have the occasional.
The winter clothes include the plaid.
I see. Okay. I didn't know how much of an influence I have been on your fashion choices over the years here, that somebody so much younger than me is now dressing so much older than his age. So Ellie Bordeaux will be with us today as well. And I was just pulling up this morning's daily newsletter from Up North News, and give a listen to this. This is the newsletter start today. It's Wednesday, December 17th. Good morning, Wisconsin. Ellie here. Some exciting personal news. Today's my birthday. So she's going to visit with us on her birthday in an hour.
Oh, how about that?
I know.
Does that mean we have to sing to her, Pat?
I mean, I think we like her. I don't think we should subject her to that, but I'm not taking it off the table. Let's put it this way. The next sentence makes me just want to turn off the computer here. She says, "I'm turning 24 and I'm excited to see what the year brings." Now at that point, I'm like, I'm out. That's it. I mean,
you have no sympathy for
she's
middle-aged
over
birthdays?
a decade younger than my daughters, so yeah, that's you talk about not being able to relate to that generation is the thing she would say about me. No, Ellie has been just wonderful, a great addition to the newsletter, a great addition to the team. She does have plenty of news stories in there as well about Wisconsin Eye, about how to contact your local lawmakers, and more. Even one here that says there's a greenhouse design that provides an opportunity for year-round crop production in Wisconsin. That's something that's in the newsletter as well, so you can sign up at upnorthnewswi.com. But I don't know. I don't have cake ready here or candles or anything else here, so it's going to be the lamest birthday party she might have. But kid, you're 24 now. The birthday parties they
get less exciting.
They get less exciting all the time because next year she'll be going through this existential crisis. Like, I'm a quarter century. I remember that. Like, wow, a quarter century. That seems old. Like, no, it's not. No.
When I turned 20, I remember saying to myself, "Wow, I'm in my third decade of life." which is one way to look at it.
Didn't spit out my coffee there. That's pretty good. So, yep. So Ellie will be along to tell us, the birthday girl will tell us more about what she's up to for her birthday. I really hope it's more than just visiting with us.
It better be more than just visiting with us.
Oh, Lordy, I hope so. There is very little to talk about on the sports front. We're definitely at that time of year now where the Bucks will host Toronto tomorrow night. The Badger men's basketball team will play Villanova on Friday at a tournament in Milwaukee. The Badger women's volleyball team, they're in the Final Four for the national title and the national semifinal against Kentucky. That will be tomorrow night. And, of course, you've got the Packers playing Saturday night in Chicago, which I do want to get geared up for. It's been a little bit rougher lately, you know. And even talking to Joe Zepecki last night for our end of the year special about, between Giannis with the Bucks and Micah Parsons for the Packers, and we know what the Brewers injury situation has been like. And if you missed it, was it yesterday or the day before? Parker actually played the theme from MASH, to describe the Wisconsin sports scene right now. But it is what it is,
I mean, this is ultimately, Pat, the life of a Wisconsin sports fan.
You're set up for heartbreak of some sort. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. I get that. Yep. But again, the Packers Bears coverage will begin Saturday at 5 p.m. on several Civic Media stations. The Badger men's basketball game against Villanova coverage begins at 6:30 on Friday evening there. And then, of course, there's still local sports. I'm sure Chad Holmes will be in tomorrow. I know tonight he's got his big high school sports show on WXCO in Wausau. And I'm guessing there's a special edition of Make the Call this coming Saturday. What with it coming up on the holidays and everything.
That could be. I don't know about special edition because
that
of the
could
holidays.
Be. Like, we haven't mapped this thing out. We have no idea,
It's a special edition because I do believe we will be joined by one Italian stallion, Dominic Lee.
Okay.
As he helps us understand the Chicago Bears. Because
he's going to help understand the Bears.
Yes, he's a Chicago Bears fan. And so we need an inside look into the psyche of a Bears fan and why. Why, Pat, must they chant "Green Bay sucks" at a Blackhawks game?
Because
in
it's
the middle of the offseason.
It's all they got. It's all they got. I mean, the Jordan glory years are behind them. The Cubs won now back in 2016. So then you got to do math and count another 108 years to figure out when the Cubs will win again.
Can I tell you, Pat?
Yes.
My Uncle Bruce. Uncle Bruce lives down in suburb of Chicago, I believe. We went down to see him. My brother was getting the piano off of him for his new house. We were going down, and we had lunch with Uncle Bruce. And Uncle Bruce puts on this raggedy old Cubs hat. And this Cubs hat, he says that he bought when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016.
All right.
And he will wear it every single day until they win it again. He says, quote, "You might have to bury me in this hat."
Might is doing some heavy lifting there. It's that's pretty much a guaranteed thing. The question becomes, does he allow the family, whenever that eventually happens, to dig him up and see the condition of the cap at that point? how many years will have passed at that point? So
was it disintegrated?
I don't say that to be cruel to your uncle, but just to every Cubs fan, that is the price that you're going to pay if you have to do that. So, so good luck, Uncle. What's Uncle's name?
Uncle Bruce.
Uncle Bruce. Oh yes, Bruce. Uncle Bruce. Good luck with that. So good luck on Make the Call with Dom. Trying to figure out the Bears fans, like the Vikings fans. It is, we are going to the Super Bowl. This is it. This is our year. And then all is lost, and we are never going to win another game again. There is no happy middle ground.
Because we definitely didn't do that after Micah Parsons got hurt.
No, not at all. There's no drama here whatsoever. from the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota. Thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. We'll talk about the White House and the Vanity Fair article coming up next. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
If you're not sure what others are saying in conversations because of loud background noise, why not call Madison Hearing Aid Center? 608-249-4077 is their number. They offer fast and flexible appointments. Talk to Jim or Sarah. They're helping people change their lives with better hearing. Get a free hearing test online at MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. That's MadisonHearingAidCenter.com, 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
As the season of celebration begins, David J. Frank Landscape extends heartfelt thanks to their clients, their community, and everyone who made 2025 a year of growth. While the snow falls, the David J. Frank team remains hard at work keeping properties safe and beautiful all winter long and designing next spring's dream yards. From their family to yours, happy holidays. From David J. Frank, Wisconsin's trusted landscape partner since 1959. Visit davidjfrank.com to start planning your 2026 landscape today.
Happy holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays.
Oh, hello, everyone. Judy Summers from Summers Tree Farm, located on Rocky Dell Road, 3 miles west of Middleton, exit 250 Airport Road. The farm opens the day after Thanksgiving, 8 to 5 daily. We close at noon Christmas Eve. Visit our website at summerschristmastreefarm.com. We look forward to seeing you. Happy holidays from the Summers family.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Listen, retirement is the long game.
20 seconds left in the break.
Oh, that's a new hot button for me.
The phone number here is 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. If you've resisted the urge to call in the early morning hours and say hi, well, you only got a couple of chances left to do that. Would love to hear where you're calling in from and be able to wish you a happy holiday season. Last week's top stories across Up North News looked like this. There was, of course, that video of the racist Cinnabon worker in Ashwaubenon who got fired after going on a tirade against some Somali American customers that were there. Governor Evers vetoed an inflammatory bill that was designed to target migrants who simply wanted health care. And again, this is where Republicans in the legislature chose to spend their time, and Governor Evers pushed it right back at them. There's also a story about how the number of people getting flu shots in Wisconsin has taken a nosedive thanks to Donald Trump and RFK Jr. and others stoking misinformation about vaccines. And on the lighter side, a story about 8 ordinary Wisconsinites who performed extraordinary acts of kindness in 2025. So all that and more you can find at our website, upnorthnewswi.com, and search for Up North News WI on social media and follow us there. There have been a lot of unusual events in 2025, more than we care to count. One of the stranger ones took place yesterday when Vanity Fair published the result of 11 interviews. Yes, 11 audio-recorded interviews conducted with Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who was extremely candid about the president and almost everyone in his inner circle, and none of it makes them look any better. Now, Susie Wiles is a woman who normally stays out of the limelight. She doesn't make waves. She tries to keep the White House and her boss on message. Did the same with the campaign last year. And then for whatever reason, she agreed to sit down multiple times with writer Chris Whipple, who has written extensively about previous chiefs of staff. So again, it was probably the allure of the subject matter and Vanity Fair and some glamour shots that would be taken along with it. So she spoke to him on the record 11 times. Recorded. Can't be misconstrued. Other top officials spoke to Chris Whipple. The story came out and, of course, was the talk of D.C. yesterday. Here's some of the highlights about Susie Wiles. She said her boss, the president, has, quote, an alcoholic's personality. Now, Trump doesn't drink, but she said her father, Pat Summerall, was an alcoholic, so she recognizes his view of himself as someone who can do no wrong. I don't know, I had parenthetically, maybe her overlooking his many faults says as much about the difficulties of being a child of an alcoholic, or in my case, the grandchild of an alcoholic, where you're always trying to please them, even when they're running amok like a bull in a china shop. She revealed that Trump is hoping to do more military strikes that target Venezuela. Again, personal question from me, will Barron Trump be on the front lines of any of this? Just asking. She said Vice President J.D. Vance is a conspiracy theorist whose reversal to support Donald Trump was for political convenience. I mean, we all know that, but she's out there saying it out loud. Budget Director Russell Vought of Project 2025 fame, she described him as a right-wing absolute zealot. I'm sure he took it as a compliment. She said Trump ignored her warning not to pardon the most violent January 6th rioters. He did it anyway, Mr. Law and Order. She criticized Elon Musk's killing of international aid programs that had been keeping children and adults alive in impoverished parts of the world, but Trump and Elon Musk ignored her. She acknowledged on the record that Trump is engaged in political persecutions, seeking criminal charges against enemies despite no crimes being committed. She said Attorney General Pam Bondi had botched the Epstein files. And by the way, it wasn't just Susie Wiles. As I said, other top officials not only spoke with Whipple, but posed for your typical glossy Vanity Fair photographs. It was all on the record. It was unvarnished honesty from these people in and near power. So what's the MAGA reaction been? You can probably guess. No shame. Just attack the report. Attack the writer. While also not claiming that anything in the piece was factually wrong, Wiles called it a disingenuously framed hit piece, but did not point to anything that was misquoted because she can't. The funniest part to me was how she then yesterday had every cabinet member, Sean Duffy, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, and others, all simultaneously put out statements in support of her and ripping Vanity Fair for a story they didn't like, but again, cannot say anything in it was factually off base. I think I have an example of some of these statements that were put out. I mean, you can imagine that they were all about how she, is a great friend and a mentor. She's a force of nature. Sean Duffy says the radical left is at it again, trying to create discord. As someone who works with Susie, I can attest that she is brilliant, tough as nails, and 100% dedicated to President Trump and America. Nice try. Then other people added other stories about her. One said, I once saw Susie Wiles climb a tree to save a cat, and while there, she saw a van full of orphans teetering off the edge of a bridge. No one can explain how she got from the tree to the bridge so fast, but those of us who saw it said, well, that's just Susie for you. Another said, Susie donated bone marrow to me. Not her own, some dude that she got out of ICE detention, but still, that was very cool of her. What a lady. And on went the mockery, as you can imagine. Now, will there be any repercussions from this? No. As long as you keep swearing loyalty to Trump, it will eventually boil over. And in fact, maybe it was intentional. Get all the backbiting out of the way so it's a distant memory next November in the midterms. Whether Americans allow this level of incompetence to keep happening, well, that's just simply up to everyone all around you between now and next November. Coming up, the Temptations, Bananarama, and more. In today's history lesson, first, the Midwest Farm Report. Live from the lake, I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Partisanship, optional. Our lakes are gorgeous. Just don't swim in them. 92.7 WMDX, keeping Madison honest, one broadcast at a time.
Did you know the average reindeer antlers grow up to 2 inches a day? Jeff Phillips is the owner of Reindeer Games in Erin, Wisconsin. He gives us a behind-the-scenes look at what reindeer antler growth looks like year-round.
The late summer comes when the reindeer finish growing their antlers. Both male and female have antlers, and they go in. The velvet starts to get kind of gray and rough looking, and all of a sudden one day you'll go out and they'll have rubbed that velvet off of their hard antlers, which for them is a natural, very easy thing. We help them a little bit along the way, and pretty soon they've got a nice, shiny, bright set of antlers to use for play and protection in the fall during, again, the rut season.
Reindeer Games spends their fall and early winter displaying reindeer across southeastern Wisconsin. Stick around, we'll have more news right after this.
Did you know you can leverage crop insurance to benefit your bottom line? Ag Country Farm Credit Services can help. Choosing the right coverage for your goals can help maximize margins, strengthen your marketing strategy, and build a more resilient operation overall. As you plan for the season ahead, focus on more than just managing risk. Call 800-450-9858 to speak with one of our dedicated crop insurance officers. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
Winter is a good time to evaluate your livestock's health. BioVet loves seeing healthy animals contribute to your farm's profitability. Freeing up your time for the holidays is at the top of our list. When you choose BioVet microbial and nutritional products to keep your livestock out of the sick pen and healthy, you'll enjoy more time with your family this holiday season. Many thanks and warm wishes from our BioVet family to yours. Help your livestock stay healthy and call 1-800-BioVet1 or visit bio-vet.com.
Wisconsin's Ag Day at the Capitol has been set for January 21st. It'll take place at the Monona Terrace. The event is the largest gathering of farmers from across the state, and they represent a wide variety of farm groups. Their goal, to learn more about issues impacting Wisconsin agriculture and meet with their state legislator. It's important that all those planning to attend call the offices of their legislators in advance to schedule an appointment between 3 and 5 p.m. on the day of the event. More news comes out of Brillion, Wisconsin. More than 1,000 snowshoe enthusiasts from across the globe will attend the World Snowshoe Championships, U.S. Nationals Snowshoe Championships, and Open Championship on December 18th through the 21st. It's the first time the events will be coming to the state of Wisconsin, and organizers are excited to bring the competition to a new audience. For more details and the full story, be sure to visit MidwestFarmReport.com. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Kylie Allen.
Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding. Madison's story unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow, falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 33.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
Where working people come to talk. It's the Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network. Join me for an honest approach to the issues American working families care about. No talking points, no focus groups. Get ready for a heavy dose of democracy, fairness, grit, and no apologies.
30 seconds left in a break.
Can't even tell if it was her or me that time, could you?
The resemblance is uncanny.
I know.
It's time once again for today's history lesson on Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
It's one small step for man.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
You know, this depression is going to be so great. We'll be the ones eating the cats and the dogs. That's going to be fun.
Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
We're going to get the history lesson started with some Paul Rogers. Paul Rogers is 76 years old today, and he's one of those folks that you go, well, wait, which band did I hear him in? Because you heard him in more than one. In that one, he was with the band Free with All Right Now, something that Rogers co-wrote. And then he later was in Bad Company with, of course, their self-titled single and Feel Like Making Love and Can't Get Enough. He played instruments on several classic tunes, including Rick Derringer's Rock and Roll Fantasy and more. Paul Rogers is, again, 76 years old today. Although I have to admit, I got Paul Rogers mixed up with Paul Carrick, because Paul Carrick, too, has been in a number of groups. He was with Ace. He was with Squeeze. And he had some solo hit or two before joining Mike and the Mechanics. It's just funny how some of these, most folks, they stay in one band the whole time. And then you see this, these guys like, wait, I can't keep track of where you all are at this point. Nice to have that much talent, right?
I mean, I guess I certainly couldn't do that.
No. But anyway, Paul Rogers, happy birthday to you. This is the anniversary of the birth of the late, great Temptation singer, Eddie Kendricks. That famous falsetto belongs to Eddie Kendricks, who passed away this day in 1992, singing The Way You Do the Things You Do, Just My Imagination, and other hits, of course, by the Temptations, born this day in 1939. On this day in 1903, the Wright brothers made the first controlled, powered, heavier-than-air flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Think of what a deal that is now compared to had something like that happen in an age with cameras and the internet and everything else. They're just there, and they're all done going, did we just do it? Did we just do the thing that they all said couldn't be done? Did we actually get this all done? And you couldn't set up any viral video or anything. It took a while for people to believe them. They did it a few more times, of course, and people believed them, but just imagine that first time going, holy crap, we did it.
The lack of instant gratification from others, though.
I know. How do you not get instant celebrity? I can't relate to that kind of thing anymore. Anyway.
I wonder, are there interviews with the Wright brothers? I've never seen anything other than the video of the guy running and then, we're flying.
I don't know if there's any audio or any newsreel footage. I've never seen any that I can be aware of. I'm sure there's writing someplace. Isn't that funny? We just don't hear much about them other than they did that thing.
Yeah.
When they actually did do much more than that. But
did they? Because I was going to say, it makes me wonder if they only did the one thing and they're actually horrible people, so we don't know.
No. They did more than that, but I don't know enough off the top of my head to recite it right here. So y'all going to have to go look it up. On this day in 1964, the third James Bond film premiered. And here comes the theme, as sung by Shirley Bassey. Goldfinger starred Sean Connery, and it created this brassy sound that's become a trademark through all the James Bond soundtracks that have followed since.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch.
Shirley Bassey sang on 2 more James Bond films. There have been 27 Bond films dating back to 1962, and the third one, Goldfinger, with Sean Connery, opened this day 61 years ago. Eugene Levy is 79 years old today. Sarah Dallin is 64. She's one of the founding members of Bananarama. Shirley Dallin from Bananarama, 64 years old today, born in Bristol, England. On this day in 1933, somebody tell Uncle Bruce this is the anniversary of the first NFL championship game. It was played at Wrigley Field in Chicago between the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants. And the Bears won that first NFL championship 23-21. They immediately broke into a Super Bowl shuffle that would not be repeated until 1985. And they never stopped talking about it for the rest of their lives.
Not until 85.
Not until 85, exactly. Senator Joe Lieberman, on this day in 2008, endorsed Republican Senator John McCain for president over Barack Obama. Joe Lieberman had been a Democrat. Joe Lieberman's also the guy that blocked the public option from being added to the Affordable Care Act and arguably helping solve the health care crisis in this country. But his Republican tendencies got the better of him, and America is a little worse off for it. On this day in 1989, on the relatively new Fox network, a new show premiered, an animated show. Nobody knew if an animated show was going to make it. This one did okay. Now, at the time, again, 1989, I know that we watched it and we thought this was great. It's subversive, it's sarcastic, it's groundbreaking, it's amazing, it's witty, it's fun. I don't know if a lot of people have watched it continuously in the 36 years since then. At some point we and plenty of other people kind of peeled off, but it still has some staying power with an audience.
I guess. I don't know if I've ever seen anything other than Simpsons clips, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Not a big Simpsons guy. I don't know.
Tony says, "Oh, The Simpsons, such memories." Okay, nice.
That's kind of a funny phenomenon to me, that there are people who were kids watching The Simpsons who are now adults and they still make The Simpsons and have it on TV. That's got to be kind of weird.
I would think, yeah. But again, not taking anything away from it. We just, taste change and you kind of move on. One more anniversary note. Happy anniversary to my old employer, WEAU, Channel 13 in Eau Claire, began broadcasting this day in 1954. That's 71 years ago, which tells you how long I've been away from the TV station, because our biggest project that we worked on was for their 50th anniversary, which is now 21 years ago. And we worked all year to put together that 50th anniversary special for TV 13. I got to interview some of the real pioneers of the station, who, one of them passed away not that long after our interview and others had already passed, but they gave such great stories about the early days of TV. I enjoyed that so much. There's a note here from you, Parker, that says you got somebody on the phone over here.
Yes, we've got Tom from Hartford on the line.
Tom from Hartford is here? Like the text line Tom from Hartford?
I believe so.
Well, Tom, good morning. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I hear you great, yes.
Okay. Well, I want to say I hate to hear that your show is going away. It's been really informative, and it makes it worth getting up early to hear what's happening in the world.
Well, thank you, Tom. That's very kind of you.
we've had some really, really great guests. I miss Brittany Merlot. She was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Wirely, she's really good.
Yes.
I am wondering, it's saying that you'll be going more full-time with Courier Newsroom.
Right.
What exactly does that mean? And will we be able to hear you on like a podcast or a radio again, or through them?
Oh, I appreciate that question, Tom. Thanks. Well, let me see. How do I best explain it? The best way to explain it is that I'm going to go back to doing more of what I was doing before the radio show. Up North News is 6 years old now. I've been with the radio station here for 3 of those years. For the first 3 years, I did, there wasn't a radio show. I did a lot more videos. I did almost daily videos that kind of explained the news, or gave my take on the news, or just shared some news and feature stories. And I just haven't done nearly as many. What we've done instead is we've aired little video clips from the radio show. I did a lot more writing of stories for the website, for the Up North News social media posts, and my bosses at Courier said that, for 2026, hey, we'd really like to do more stuff in-house, more videos, more, have you write more. And I said, okay, well, I appreciate them giving me the opportunity for 3 years to visit like this. The one thing that we haven't resolved yet, Tom, and I know I've been asked about it a couple times, is whether there will be something similar to this, either a podcast or a live, like video update. I mean, one thing I've kicked around is, instead of 6 a.m., because, trust me, Tom, I've earned the right to sleep in a little bit, would be to maybe go on live, somewhere at 7 a.m. on Facebook or YouTube or others. And instead of 3 hours, maybe it's just, 20 or 30 minutes with a guest, and we talk about, the day's news or something like that. Is that live? Is that pre-recorded? The holidays are kind of getting in the way of that whole planning thing, Tom. So we're going to plan that out right after the first of the year. And no doubt between our newsletters and our website, we'll keep everybody up to speed. And I also want to emphasize this is a very amicable parting with Civic Media. They have been nothing but wonderful. So there will still be Civic Media folks in Up North News coverage. I really think that I'll still be on some Civic Media shows, guesting, maybe even guest hosting. You just never know. But it's all just a little pivot in what we were doing, Tom, and I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. It's really throwing a curveball to other people who comment and text, like Tony, who just put on YouTube, wait, people who text and comment on the show are allowed to call in? Yeah, Tommy, they are. Yes, Tony, look at Tom. Tom's doing it. Thank you, Tom.
Yep. It seems like your ability to reach more people, though, will be limited now, though, by going off the air.
It's possible, although again, we've got a newsletter that goes out to tens of thousands of people, and we've got plenty of folks on social media. Our YouTube audience is growing, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But for at this point, this is where Courier is going to go. So we'll take Up North News in that direction. So, Tom, I'm up against a commercial break, but thank you so much for all the text messages and all the support. Thank you very much. Have a good holiday season.
Thank you. I hate to see you go.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Thank you again for calling in. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, who knows?
Get on the horn, people. Tell Pat how much you love him.
We might even hear from. Would I recognize Tony's voice if I heard it? I don't know.
Boy, I don't know.
Maybe he'll just have his daughters call in again. Seems to. Yeah, that's how he operates. Which is fine. They sound much better anyway. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
To 8 p.m.
It's funny. I've got an audio alert for the text line.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I don't recall hearing it when all these notes were coming in just now. So I missed your initial note. So it was when I saw it in the chat and you said, Tom's still on the phone. I'm like, what do you mean Tom is still on the phone? And then I go over here and I look and I'm like, oh, there it is. Yeah.
The original note, in the Google chat for me was right before the segment started.
Oh.
So I thought you were sat back down because I waited to see you again.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I clearly missed it, so I'm
The rest of the notes, I don't know.
glad he hung on the line. All right.
Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Wisconsin. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drug driving, and let's achieve 0 preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Afternoons with John and Gordy.
There are so many movies and series about people who are discovering that they were a spy. Maybe that has happened.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
Eight 855-75-CIVIC is our phone number. You can also use the Civic Media app to call us or text us or just record a little voice note. I'm frankly going to admit I'm a little surprised that voice note feature doesn't get used more often because it's just, leaving a voicemail, leaving a voice message for the show, and, nobody can talk back to you at the time. But feel free to do that over the next couple of days before we go away. Troy and Madison on the text line. Your show is going away. More sad news this year. Thank you for brightening up our mornings over the past few years. Troy from Madison. Thank you, Troy, very much for that. The Wright brothers, Lynn in Golden Valley puts on the text line. The Wright brothers had a bike shop, which is how they had the machines to make their plane structure. There were a few pictures of the first Wright brothers flights. Tom, before as he called in, also put on the text line, the EAA Museum really gives a lot of info on the Wright brothers and their first flight. Tom also asked, was Paul Rogers the lead voice of Bad Company? Yes, he was. Let's see, over on Facebook, Roger posts about my old station's anniversary, WEAU, notes that WEAU, along with Wax Radio, since 1966, have been broadcasting from a tower north of Fairchild, 2,000 feet tall, once described as the eighth wonder of the world. Yes. Again, as part of the 50th anniversary, we showed the big newspaper, the full-page newspaper ads, and all the other attention given to this 2,000-foot beast of a tower that had been constructed north of Fairchild. If you're familiar with Eau Claire and where the Channel 13 studio is, there's a big tower behind the studio. Just dominates the Eau Claire landscape. That's 1,000 feet tall. Now put another 1,000 feet on top of that. And if you ever get a chance to see it in the Fairchild area, you will be impressed. I promise you. That thing came down a few years back. It was in 2011, March of 2011, during an ice storm, that 2,000-foot structure fell in 3 different directions, took the stations off the air for a little bit. It was eventually rebuilt and is back there now. But I seen the pictures, and again, it's a good thing it's in a remote area, because that thing could have hurt a whole lot of people had that happen. But Roger, thank you for that note as well. Let's see, Parker, we didn't even get to the National Day calendar today. What are we celebrating on this December 17th?
Well, predictably, Pat, it is Wright Brothers Day.
Wright Brothers Day, I like it. Okay, good.
There you go. It is also Maple Syrup Day. I would like to point out there's also a Maple Syrup Day Canada.
Well, yeah, you get 20% less syrup there after the exchange rate. But
yes,
yeah, if you want the full Maple Syrup Appreciation Day, you got to do it here. That's how that works. So
more sugar.
Are you? I shouldn't say who's not a fan of maple syrup, but I gotta be honest here. Maple syrup's nice, but some of those other non-maple syrups, they're not bad either.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about your log cabins and your Mrs. Butterworths or things like that. People go, no, you've got to have maple. I just like syrup. I'm like Buddy the Elf. Just put that syrup on anything, and I'll be fine.
Put it on spaghetti and call it dinner.
Yep. Ugh, God, it's just gross. I've
seen
that movie dozens of times, and that still just grosses me out. Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember how I thought of that as a kid, but I know how I think of it now.
Oh, yuck. Yeah. Any other calendar notes?
It is also Device Appreciation Day.
Device Appreciation Day.
Yes, and I'm sure that our world really appreciates its devices.
God
knows what would happen without them.
So this is like phone device and things like that. Not like the Wright brothers were inventors and tinkers and all their little devices and things like that.
My understanding is phone devices.
It's the phone devices. Yeah. Here's the thing that I wish our devices knew about. I wish they recognized each other a little bit better. Because one of the biggest lies that is told is when you put in a password and then it says, do you want me to remember this device for 30 days or remember this device, or is it a public device?
Yeah.
And you'll go, this is my device. Recognize it. Next time around, we don't recognize this device. Please use 2-factor authentication to get it. You asked me if this was my device. It's an amnesia issue on, worthy of a soap opera plot line. Oh my God, the computer got amnesia again. It does not recognize this device. So I'm all favor of devices, but look, if you're going to set up a network and everything, then at least find a way to recognize something and keep recognizing it. That's all I ask.
I wish that devices were better at recognizing other devices in the sense of like Bluetooth.
Oh yeah.
My AirPods do not connect to my laptop unless you cut your hand and you do a blood ritual. It is such a pain to do.
I've had that problem with my AirPods as well. And just the other day we were both raving about the noise canceling feature of the new AirPods. But I have lost track of the number of times like Sherry will be calling in and then I'll be like, oh, wait, hang on. I gotta go back to my phone and I got to hit the audio button and it's already on speaker or it's on phone or it's on computer. It's like, no, you see that the AirPods are there. You see them. Why did you not just go right to them? It just doesn't make any sense. So I will celebrate Device Appreciation Day when my devices better appreciate me.
When my devices work, dang it.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Got any quick entertainment notes for us?
This is actually breaking about the Warner Bros. Acquisition. The Warner Bros. Have urged shareholders to reject the Paramount hostile takeover, saying that a merger with Netflix would be better for its customers.
Okay, well, that's their opinion, but the shareholders get a vote. And isn't Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, is involved in one of these as well?
Yeah, he was backing a Paramount bid, but they have pulled out his private equity firm that he was in.
Oh, okay. Amazing when a conflict of interest is called out that things can happen. All right, well, that's good to know. In our next hour, our last edition of Homeroom with Heather DuBois Bourenane and Chris Hambuch-Boyle from the Wisconsin Public Education Network. And Ellie Bordeaux, the birthday girl and our newsletter editor, joins us right after the 7 o'clock news. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
WMDXradio.com.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The president overnight ramping up the pressure on Venezuela, announcing what he calls a blockade of oil tankers in and out of the country. But, says ABC's Lana Moise,
Trump is only targeting sanctioned tankers linked to alleged terrorist activity, not all oil tankers, which would be seen as a declaration of war.
this move coming a few days after the U.S. seized a sanctioned tanker. New videos of the person suspected in the Brown University attack that killed 2 students.
The first person that they had detained, we never saw that person's face. They never identified that person by name, and they never put out any kind of video or pictures of that person. The pictures we're seeing that are being released Monday afternoon and yesterday afternoon, those are images of the person they believe to be the person of interest. They just don't know who that person is.
ABC's Josh Margolin. Warner Brothers now officially asking its shareholders to reject the hostile takeover bid from Paramount, arguing that a merger with Netflix...
You heard it here first.
...customers. This is ABC News.
From the Capitol to your kitchen table, Madison's biggest stories live right here on 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson. Wisconsinites can once again get help paying their heating bills after delays because of the government shutdown. The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program has started making payments. The heating season officially started November 1st, but the shutdown meant the federal government was not sending money to the state to fund the program. State officials estimate 185,000 households will get assistance paying their energy bills. The average one-time benefit for heat is expected to be $440. For people getting help paying their electric bills, that's expected to be $244. People all over Wisconsin have already started getting their benefits. Already, the state has sent out $40 million. Eligibility depends on the size of your household and your income. Families of 4 that bring in less than $73,000 a year qualify. Still, the program's future seems unclear. Back in April, the Trump administration fired 10,000 federal employees, including everyone in the low-income heating program office. Meanwhile, gas prices continue to drop. Melissa Kay brings us our weekly check of prices at the pump.
Average gas prices fell 5.3 cents per gallon last week. The average across the state on Monday landed at $2.51. This is 26.5 cents per gallon lower than a month ago and over 25 cents lower than this time last year. According to Gas Buddy officials, this is the 3rd straight week of the national gas price average falling. It was at $2.85 on Monday, which is the lowest level we've seen the national average since March 12, 2021. They say the downward trend may continue as we close out the year.
On average, right now in Dane County, a gallon of regular will cost you $2.51. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers trying to think positive. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL. The Packers play the Bears in Chicago Saturday night with a chance to get back into first place in their division. They do it with several players injured and Micah Parsons done for the season after a loss in Denver.
All right.
That's Packers linebacker.
Let's
Edgerrin
do this.
Cooper.
Happy birthday to you.
That's not what I was expecting when you said let's do this.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How
Thank
are
you so much.
Yes. How's it feel to be old now?
The same. Honestly, 24, it still feels like fine. I feel like 25, once I hit 25, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm old.
I believe I called that. Okay. So, all right. Let's see where we at. 2 minutes left till we get going here. Any other changes from your list?
No.
All right. Then we're good there.
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll be back in about 90 seconds.
Madison, And that's 92.7 WMDX.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow, falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 33.
You're a storyteller, negotiator, artist, innovator. Whatever your passion, whatever your skills, behind the scenes or in front, you belong here. A career in broadcast media. Local radio and TV stations in every town and city need someone like you. So do what you love and bring your talent to life. Your passion, your skills, your career. You belong here. Learn more at youbelonghere.media.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake.
30 seconds left in a break.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. Nice to have you here up north on a Wednesday morning, December 17th, 2025. Parker Olson producing things down in Madison. Ellie Bordeaux standing by to talk about the daily newsletter we put out at Up North News. Later this hour, our friends Chris Hambuch-Boyle and Heather DuBois Bourenane from the Wisconsin Public Education Network for our final visit in a weekly segment called Homeroom, talking all about public education in Wisconsin. These two women got me started on the concept of having a segment dedicated to public schools in Wisconsin, so it'll be nice to close out the chapter with them. Speaking of which, if you missed me mentioning it last hour, although the show comes to an end after this Friday, there will be 2 weeks worth of highlight shows. Parker's been busy putting together all kinds of highlights from the best of 2025, and we have sprinkled in there some new material as well. We have an end of the year look back with Joe Zepecki and Melissa Baldoff. We have Jeff Renicky from Friends of the Apostle Islands visiting with us. Author Laura Bird has some book recommendations for the new year. We will have a special segment of playing all of the announcement ads from all of the candidates for governor back to back to back so that you can hear them all and see if there's anything that stands out, that maybe there's a candidate you weren't sure about them. Maybe you'll see something that or hear something you like about them in that. So all that plus lots of great highlights from the course of the year coming up, not to mention the full story of Pigeon Quest with Melissa Kay. That will be one of the segments coming up in the next couple of weeks. But Melissa Kay also joins us before we wrap up our show today to tell us more about Pigeon Quest. If you weren't there for it, if you didn't know that rescue pigeons were a thing, you do now, and you're going to learn more in just a bit. But first, it is time to talk to the Oracle of Oconomowoc, Ellie Bordeaux, our newsletter editor, who we bring in with a little Beatles. Paul McCartney's a little bit older than Ellie here is today, but still, I hope you appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. Ellie, happy birthday.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love it.
Okay, well, that's great. Let's see. And you said it right in the newsletter. I mean, apparently you haven't reached the age where we're not supposed to ask a woman her age, and you put it right out there to tens of thousands of readers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any shame in that. I don't mind.
24.
24.
24.
I don't think we're old enough to really mind.
I guess not. Rob says, good morning from Tigerton. It's partly cloudy, 32. It was 39 degrees overnight. I have a doctor's appointment in Shawano And then some possible freezing rain and temperatures on the roller coaster. And he concludes by saying, "Happy birthday, Ellie." Thank you, Rob, for that.
Thank you.
And then Tony, of course. Oh no, 25, so old. You're going to do that thing next year, aren't you? Where you're going to go, I'm a quarter of a century. Oh my gosh.
Probably a little bit. I can't lie, but I'm safe from it right now.
Oh yeah, you're safe for another year. One more year of youth that you've got
Right.
for yourself. Are you doing anything I mean, midweek birthdays are always tough. So either last weekend or next weekend, are you doing something
Yeah.
special?
So tonight I'm going out to dinner, staying pretty casual. Tomorrow I'm celebrating with my family. We do, our family has a lot of Christmas traditions. So one of the things we always do is decorate Christmas cookies, and we always kind of use it as a little bit of a birthday celebration too. So doing that tomorrow. And then this weekend I've got a group of friends. We're going to our local dive bar. We're watching the Packer game, and we're just going to hang out, which is my dream way to celebrate my birthday.
Yes, it is, with friends. No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So having a birthday this close to Christmas, would you say, I mean, a week away, is that far enough away that you actually do get some birthday time, or do you feel like it is getting lumped in and you're only getting one present a year instead of two?
Honestly, like, I feel like all of my friends and my family have done a very good job keeping it very separate. I don't ever feel like it's been lumped in. I also don't know any difference. So even if it was being lumped in, I wouldn't really know. You know what I mean?
I think that's a very good attitude, and so baby Jesus is not mad at you. You have a good
Great.
mindset about that. So
I hope so.
good for you. Ellie Bordeaux puts together our newsletter. You can sign up for it at upnorthnewswi.com. And we've had a lot of fun talking about the locals love section in the newsletter, where people talk about their favorite this or that. And the this or that last time around was supper clubs, which I always, love hearing about. Always looking for a new place to go. Do you feel like you learned much of anything by getting some of the reader contributions to that?
Yeah, I mean, I always learn something new in these locals love sections, and that's why I love it so much. Because there are so many places that I've never heard of, and I'm like, well, now I got to go try this. So we got a ton of submissions. The Ranch Supper Club in Hayward, Dreamland Supper Club in South Range, Digger's Sting Restaurant in La Crosse, which came in from the radio show. So we have some people from the radio show that came in and submitted things. So it's always so fun. We for Dreamland Supper Club, we had someone say it's been years since we dined at the Wisconsin Supper Club, but decided to try Dreamland for our anniversary. We make it our annual anniversary spot. The food was outstanding, everything cooked to perfection, and such a good value. So it's so great to hear and highlight these local businesses that people love and get people through the doors,
Absolutely. So again, you'll see that locals love section in our weekday newsletter. And looking ahead on that, you've got a nice holiday theme here, holiday markets.
Yes, yeah, 'tis the season. So we, in our Badger State Buzz section as well, we have talked all about different holiday things going on, and holiday markets are in no shortage in Wisconsin, that's for sure. So there are plenty of holiday markets, holiday light shows, different ways to celebrate the holidays throughout the state. So we want to hear your favorite holiday markets, ways to spend the holidays, those kinds of things, and send them in with photos. We'll feature them, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a true holiday theme for our locals love section. Are you also appreciating the fact that at Courier Newsroom, we have a very generous holiday policy, and that includes, the full week off between Christmas and New Year's. That's the good news. The bad news is, still being a newsroom and media company, we still have to prepare things that have to publish pretty much every day during that time off. So yeah, you get the time off, but you're kind of working at double speed leading up to that. I have a feeling you've got a couple of different newsletter templates, and you're busy trying to fill those out for the holiday week.
Yes, this is true. We actually only are going to be sending one newsletter throughout that time on December 30th, I believe it is. And we're going to kind of do a little look back at some of our favorite stories throughout the year, some of our favorite photos, different submissions that people have had in because of our Your Wisconsin View section. It's great to highlight those photos that people have sent in too. So we're going to be taking a look at some of just our favorites from the year, nothing too heavy, just because it's the holidays. We want to keep it light and that kind of thing. So we'll only have one send throughout that time, but yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for it.
Okay, that sounds good. And another section in the newsletter is our civic check-in, all about ways that you can boost your civic engagement. And one key way to do that is to let elected officials know what's on your mind, and you help people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we focused on today. We wanted to teach people how to contact their lawmakers and why it's so important. And so sometimes I think people don't really know how to go about that. So we gave you all of the tools to do so. There's a place on My Vote Wisconsin where you can enter your address and see all of your elected officials. And then there are there's contact information available for your Madison representatives and legislators and your U.S. senators and U.S. representatives, where you can see all of their contact information just by entering your address and seeing who represents you. And so we talk a little bit about why this is so important. And it's a good way to participate in democracy, obviously, but it also that's how they know what's on your mind. That's how they know what their constituents need. And so they won't know that unless you contact them. And be sure, you don't need to be an expert on the topic, but share your thoughts. It's important to let them know what's happening, what you think, and they will take that into consideration, hopefully.
Right. I mean, I can say as a legislator, you don't necessarily see every phone message or email, depending if like an avalanche of them come in, but you've got staff that, hold them all up and they give you a summary and they let you know there's a whole lot of people that are thinking about X, or there's a whole lot of people that are opposed to Y. And that won't happen in a vacuum. It takes people that will take the time to call in. And by the way, I add parenthetically, if you call in to your congressman's office, your senator's office, your legislator's office, be nice. These are staff people. You're not talking to the actual politician. And these staff people are, they have jobs just like you. It's customer service type work. So, mind your manners, state your business, state that you're vehemently opposed or in favor of something, but don't take it out on the nice people who are taking your phone calls, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good point. And again, your personal experiences matters to them, and they want to hear those things, but that's a very good point of be nice. These people are just trying to do their jobs, that kind of thing. And they will get your message across. So.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, if you do have a particular personal story or angle, sometimes that does get passed along because every legislator wants to know about, unintended consequences or things like that. So do feel free to share. And one more note that Ellie mentions the My Vote website. That's myvote.wi.gov. And a reminder that if you wait till after the first of the year, when the calendar year starts, and you go to myvote.wi.gov, there is a box that you can check off, and all of the absentee ballots for the entire calendar year will be sent to you rather than having to go election by election by election. If you just know now that absentee voting is what you prefer, it's the way to go. From January 1st onward, you can check just one box if you choose to and have all that year's absentee ballots mailed to you. It's a great feature, along with everything else Ellie talked about. It'll tell you who all of your representatives are: Congress, legislature, county, school, on and on. It's just a great resource that Ellie's highlighting in the newsletter at upnorthnewswi.com. And I believe we had one more. Oh, yes, we can't skip the photographs. Holy cow, Ellie.
Yes, yeah. So I actually spoke with this photographer. His name is Peter Wagner, and I spoke with him earlier this week, and he has a really incredible story about how he's making a difference and giving back to the Friends of the Apostle Islands through his photography. So he is a business member from them, and he's a part of their program where if people buy one of his prints, he gives back to this organization, and he is an incredible photographer. And this is a story that's going to be featured in the newsletter that's coming out tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for that to learn more. But he had just such a great story. He talks about he had this goal to hit or see all 50 states before he was 60. And he did that 2 months before he turned 60. And he just has a really incredible story. So we're really excited to feature him and tell his story. And so just keep an eye out for that tomorrow for sure.
Well, for tomorrow, that means you got to get subscribed today. If you're not already, head over to upnorthnewswi.com, click subscribe in the banner at the top of the homepage, and give a look at what Ellie's putting together on the weekdays and what I do on Sundays. Ellie, enjoy the rest of your birthday. Thanks for taking time out of it to visit with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. No, we appreciate it very much. All right. Have a great day. Have a great birthday. 24. I'm trying to remember 24. 24 was, oh yeah, it was 1988. We were pregnant with child number 1. So very, very long ago. I'm going to go reflect and look at some old black and white photos. We'll be back. I'm Pat Kreitlow, live from Lake Wissota on the Civic Media Radio Network. Our Homeroom segment coming up in just 15 minutes. I remember we thought we were so old, you know. Sherry got married at 21, had her kids at 23 and 25. I was 21, 23, 25, right. And I was 22, 24, 26. So, yeah, 24 because our parents started a little bit younger than we did, you know. So we were so much older and wiser now. So congratulations, you're now older and wiser. Well, than you were at 18 anyway.
Right. Yeah, I would say definitely I am.
I was going to say, that's a good one. What would you say to your 18-year-old self at this point, you know?
Yeah, I would have to think of that.
Mine would be just, you know, hang in there, you know, just
That's
power through.
Yep, that's true. I would do probably the same thing.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, have a fun day. I'll talk to you at, are we going to talk to you at 9:45?
Yeah, I'll be at the meeting. I'm going to head out probably around like noon. So
okay, sounds good. All right, see you then. Okay,
see ya.
Bye.
See ya.
My name's John Driscoll, proud member of the Patriotic Millionaires. When I was CEO at CareCentrix, I doubled entry-level wages. The impact? Productivity went up, turnover went down, and the company was successful. When employees are off the clock, they're real consumers, the consumers that drive the economy with their spending. By paying employees a fair wage, we're actually helping out all of us in giving our economy the best chance to succeed. I'm John Driscoll, I'm a Patriotic Millionaire, and I approve this message.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show. If you're looking for honest talk, real stories, and straight-up news that matters to you, tune in to The Rick Smith Show. We're digging into the issues that affect your job, your family, your future. Join me weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network, because your voice deserves to be heard.
30
That's The Rick Smith Show.
seconds.
Heard weeknights at 9 right here.
855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. If you'd like to call, use that number to text us as well, or use the Civic Media app to call us or text us or leave us a voice note with any questions, any comments on things in the news. For example, the crushing of any final hopes that before the end of the year, Congress might take a vote and extend the tax credits that had helped keep health insurance more affordable to some 20 million Americans. There have been plenty of moderate Republicans in the House of Representatives demanding of Speaker Mike Johnson that a vote be held, so they can at least go on record as saying that, unlike a lot of their extremist friends, they actually would like to see people be able to afford health insurance and not just say, well, because we jacked up your rates, therefore, the Affordable Care Act doesn't work. And Speaker Mike Johnson had some closed-door meetings with Republicans, came out and said this: we looked for a way to try to allow for that pressure release valve of a vote, and it was just not to be. That's how Speaker Mike Johnson and House Republicans jacked up your health insurance prices, with the words, it just was not to be. It could be. Just schedule the damn vote. It's not that tough. It's to hold a clean up or down vote on whether healthcare costs should go up for 20 million Americans. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people that are perfectly happy with that. Think of Derek Van Orden, for example. Think of Tom Tiffany, for example. Derek Van Orden recently tweeted that, the Affordable Care Act is a house of cards and would send hundreds of billions of dollars to insurance companies as opposed to making health care more affordable. To which I again ask the congressman, what's your plan? And all we've heard is, well, let's send that money back to the American people. Well, because then the American people allegedly have this extra money, which apparently is like $1,000. And health insurance costs are so much higher than that. If you were honest and did not want to send more money to the health insurance companies, you would find a way to make sure that Americans weren't sending more money to health insurance companies. But you really don't care about that. I would go so far as to say you're lying. You're actually very happy that health insurance companies are about to get a lot more money and that you have no interest whatsoever in helping your constituents afford health insurance. Now, if you want to tackle affordability in healthcare from a different standpoint, something that affects the way that hospitals and doctors are reimbursed for care or something like that, I mean, have at it. Seriously, all ideas are welcome. But the only idea we've heard so far is let's give everybody $1,000 and put it into a health savings account, which will do nothing. It will help a few people who already have the bucks to afford higher health insurance premiums, but it won't actually bring the premiums down. Mike Johnson knows that, Derek Van Orden knows that, Tom Tiffany knows that, and yet instead of proposing something else that would make health insurance affordable, they just say, well, the system doesn't work. The system that we have been trying to break, the system that we have been trying to repeal for more than a decade doesn't work. And we have nothing else to replace it with. So, I mean, you're literally doing less than nothing other than trying to make political points by thinking that you're somehow, tap dancing on the grave of the Affordable Care Act. It doesn't work that way. Everybody sees it. And again, there are plenty of Republicans who see it. Take Texas Republican Chip Roy, again, with whom I have very little in agreement. Some of the things that he says I think are just truly awful. But when it comes to health insurance and healthcare coverage, he gets it. And he's listening to some of his Republican colleagues talking about doing nothing and that this will really show Americans and this will show the insurance companies and all that. And Chip Roy in a hearing yesterday just ripped into his fellow Republicans. He said, now we're sitting here and we're listening to nonsense about health care. My colleagues on the other aisle are saying, well, you guys aren't doing anything about the massive expensive cost of health care. And he says, because all his Republican friends are offering is, quote, milquetoast garbage. And he says that all members of Congress must go. When a fellow Republican calls your work pathetic and milquetoast garbage and won't even allow a vote to maintain the one thing that is keeping health insurance costs affordable, you know you've got a problem. You've lost Chip Roy on this issue. You've lost Marjorie Taylor Greene on this issue. These are people who are so extreme on so many other issues, but they understand the bread and butter of healthcare and having it be affordable. We can fight about all these other things, but it doesn't matter if you're not doing something proactive that would help Americans. And you've got nothing to offer. I looked through the rest of Derek Van Orden's recent Twitter feed, and it is, again, nothing but dozens and dozens of insults and sarcasm and making fun of somebody's genital size. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. This is how Derek Van Orden is spending his time. not searching for any kind of solution, but echoing the same old tired talking points, claiming he doesn't want Americans sending a bunch of money to health insurance companies. Well, again, I say, Congressman Van Orden, Tiffany, and the others, what the hell is your alternative? And as soon as you've got a real one, could you let us know? Because we keep hearing it's 2 weeks away from Donald Trump. And that doesn't seem to be, I think you guys might be lying to us. Our final edition of Homeroom is coming up next, talking about protecting and strengthening public education in the state of Wisconsin. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. Here we go, Chris. Last dance.
I know, Pat, and everyone's coming.
Last dance, last chance for love. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine. So Christian's coming?
No, our whole team is coming.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to see this.
Heather, Tessa, Bryn, Camden.
Oh, okay.
We all wanted to come and say thank you.
That is very kind. So what are you going to do for Christmas now? Are you traveling? You're on the road all the time.
No. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, good.
Nope. I'm staying close to home. I like that. And I usually just drive north nowadays. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, you do. I know. Anything happening in Ashland or Superior or any place on the transparency front?
Not really,
It's that time of year.
Yeah, except that it's really blossomed into something I never imagined. And it isn't just the network. They're helping each other,
Yeah.
And so that part's really nice to see.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll go somewhere. We'll go to Eau Claire now on the 26th and 27th of January for that conversation in Eau Claire.
That's great. All right. I see Bryn standing by. I'm going to go grab some more coffee, and then I'll pop her up and everybody else, and I'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, Pat.
Choosing the right coverage for your goals can help maximize margins, strengthen your marketing strategy, and build a more resilient operation overall. As you plan for the season ahead, focus on more than just managing risk. Call 800-450-9858 to speak with one of our dedicated crop insurance officers. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
Dairy pumps that were designed more than 50 years ago do not meet today's large dairy farm requirements. Bopeller pumps by McVen Technologies were born and patented this century with a unique and innovative design that ensures gentle, low-shear pumping along with efficient, high-capacity and long seal life. Bopeller pumps for all your applications will ensure your dairy is operating with 21st century technology. Bopeller is American innovation. Contact your dealer today.
Yesterday on the close from Chicago, cash corn was down 3 1/4 at 436.5. New crop corn down 1.5 pennies at 459.5. Cash soybeans closed down 9 cents at 10.62 3/4, and new crop soybeans closed down 8 1/4 cents at 10.80 1/4. Cash wheat ended the day yesterday down 11 1/4 cents at 509.5. New crop wheat also closed down 8.5 cents at 529 3/4. Yesterday, the 40-pound block cheese closed up 1 3/4 at 339 3/4, and double A butter closed up 1 1/4 cents at 145 1/4. To stay up to date on the latest Wisconsin Ag News, be sure to visit our website at MidwestFarmReport.com. And while you're there, sign up for our e-newsletter. That'll have the latest, most up-to-date Wisconsin Ag News delivered straight to your inbox every morning. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Kylie Allen.
Construction barrels bloom every spring. So do opinions. WMDX, guiding Madison through life's most predictable surprises.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow, falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 31.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that...
Okay, let's see. I come back to my computer, and I get a screen full of folks. There's Chris. There's Bryn. There's Denise. Camden's in here somewhere as well, I think. There he is. Nice party. Holy cow. Hi, you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Pat.
Oh wow, y'all sound good. This is very nice. All right, well, you know the drill. We're gonna get going in where's that kid? When are we going?
30
Thank you.
seconds left in a break.
There it is. All right. I'll pop you back in the waiting room for just a couple. Oh, wait a minute. There should be one more here. Oh, there she is now. All right. All right. I'll be back to all of you in just a sec. All right, if you missed it, it's story time again here as we talk about our homeroom segment. The homeroom segment got started with a simple conversation. I wanted to learn more about how do we explain to folks the ways that the school funding system in our state is just broken. And can we convey that to folks, maybe through a video or a video series or maybe an interview or two? And it was pretty clear after having more conversations with Heather DuBois, Bourenane, and Chris Hambuch-Boyle from the Wisconsin Public Education Network, it was going to take more than that. That this is something that should be ongoing. And a segment was born where we hope that over the past couple of years, we've been able to fill people in on the need to support and strengthen our public schools in Wisconsin and defend them against some very well-organized efforts to undermine public education and to bring some transparency to taxpayers. I don't know if it worked well enough or not. It must have, because the people who started this with me are joining me here now. That includes the aforementioned Heather DuBois Bourenane and Chris Hambuch-Boyle from the Wisconsin Public Education Network. Hello to both of you. Good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. And then you went and brought friends. You wanted to test the limits of my computer window over here. So also from the Wisconsin Public Education Network, we bring in Bryn Horton and Denise Gomer-Hutchison and Camden Hargrove are all here from the network as well. Chris, Heather, what the heck is that?
We're here to celebrate you, Pat, and to thank you. I really have appreciated your knowledge and your persistence of that knowledge, your news-evoking conversations with your listeners about public school funding. You're so appreciated. Your statewide, dependable, factual voice that helped us do our work is going to be really missed. But I hope we do something going forward that might even knock the socks off of Wisconsin even more.
I thank you, Chris. Heather, I think I can see that happening in 2026. And, the whole reason that I'm kind of shifting gears here is that 2026, it's going to be a big year, Heather. There's a lot to tell people about.
Well, there is so much, and we are so grateful, Pat, to the role that you've played in helping tell the stories of folks around the state and how they've been impacted by policy, what they need in their local schools, what they have to celebrate in their local school districts, and just generally being a positive voice for all of the amazing things that are happening statewide to support Wisconsin kids. So we all just wanted to come on and let you know how much we appreciate that and how much we're looking forward to joining you in whatever your next steps are so that we can keep telling those stories and getting the word out there that there are so many opportunities for folks to take action with us.
Well, thank you. And it only happens because there are folks who are willing to have a big picture state view of these things, but also all the people that are working at a local level or a regional level. Denise Gomer-Hutchison, you're definitely one of them. It's been great to have conversations about you to get the word out that, while we hear about it in the state capitol all the time, the difference is really made in each little hometown, in each community, at each school board meeting. And it's been fun to watch you get people informed and get them energized to, stand up for their local schools, Denise.
Thanks, Pat. And we couldn't have done it without you because you helped us keep that ripple of information going across the state. Green Bay was the first to do the actual on the tax bill notification about what's going on with taxpayers and with vouchers and the impact. And man, is it having an impact. Tax bills hit this last week, and we are hearing about it all over the city. What do you mean I'm paying for that? What do you mean that's, coming out of my tax bill? And you helped us make that happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Denise. And that actually is the question that started all of this, is I wanted people to look at their property tax bill and say, wait, I'm paying for what? And I know that Chris very early on was doing that in the Eau Claire district, was trying to help people understand that taxpayers are paying for 2 school systems in the state, not just one, and that they don't see the breakdown of the cost of the voucher program. But thanks to your work and everybody else's, that is really starting to happen. But there's more that happens than just that one issue of taxpayer transparency. There's just a myriad of bills that come up in the legislature, some designed to support education, some frankly designed to, hog-tie education efforts in our public schools. And Bryn Horton is an absolute rock star at tracking all of that. Bryn, I really appreciate all that you do, and hope that, we're going to keep talking about the ways that we keep our legislators accountable.
Yeah, Pat, there's not a lot of people I get up and talk legislative with at 7:30 in the morning. So I appreciate having the space to do it. And I'm just going to say, call out while I'm still here, is there's an education committee hearing at 1 p.m. today on bills that aren't going to do anything to help school districts in the slightest bit. So we'll keep calling it out, and hopefully in partnership with you.
Oh, absolutely. In some way, shape, or form, we appreciate doing that. Camden Hargrove is one of the newest voices over at the Wisconsin Public Education Network. And so since we're talking about it in a school frame, Camden, I'll say, what have you learned so far working with the network about not just what you've learned, but what is the right thing to do going forward? What is the strategy toward having outcomes next year that will make our public schools even stronger?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me today. And look, I said tonight, I'm not that much of a morning person, so that's why maybe I haven't been on at 7:30 all the time with these other ladies. But I have learned a lot. I didn't necessarily come straight from the education background in the same way that some of them did. So coming from a organizing background and loving being involved with youth organizing, have learned so much about education and vouchers and the history, the racist origins, and how impactful they are now still, but for financial reasons, and how the lack of knowledge about them is kind of how they keep persisting. So the work that's being done to get them on the tax bills has been really, really useful, and I've loved learning about that. And I think that in the future, where we're going, I think it is all about the one-on-one relationships and talking from a value standpoint, because that's really where we're coming from. That's what's most important. And if we're really going to take care of the kids, it's values first.
That's right. Camden is here along with Denise and Bryn and Chris and Heather from the Wisconsin Public Education Network. We do have to take care of a little bit of newsy business. So, Heather, I'm going to take that one to you. And it is this notion, this talking point that I would really like to see nipped in the bud, but it appears to be gaining some traction because it's the only message Republicans in the legislature have, is that the reason property tax bills are so high this year, as people are looking at their bills, they keep coming back to, well, Governor Evers did that with his 400-year veto, the 400-year veto, the 400-year veto. Now, last I checked, the governor of a state doesn't have any taxing power. So you've heard this, Heather. What is it you want everybody to know when they see that in their social media pages or hear about it, over coffee?
Listen, what Governor Evers tried to do in that veto of his a couple of years ago was restore what we call the Tommy Thompson standard, which is the ability of school districts to have a little bit of an increase to keep pace with inflation every year in how much they're allowed to spend. The state's job then is to provide the funding so they can spend it. What happened this year was they didn't give a single dollar in spendable aid to public schools at the legislative level. Wisconsin Republicans and some Democrats who also voted in favor of the bill pushed forward a budget that provided $0 in spendable aid. That's why your taxes are going up, because the state isn't paying its share and our kids are paying the price. This is why we see record numbers of referenda across the state. We're in our 18th year in a row of budgets that haven't even kept pace with inflation or have been cuts. And something's got to give. Who do you think is going to pay the school bills? The lights still have to go on. Somebody's got to be the grown-ups, and it has to be us this time around. You don't like the way your tax bill looks, you're going to have to demand your legislators do better. And if your legislators aren't going to do better, you're going to have to get better legislators.
Simple as that. Denise, you're hearing that as well over there, and probably have to take a moment to explain to people, what that veto did in terms of, the ability to, raise the revenue limits that are on school districts. But that means nothing if the legislature doesn't hold up their end of their obligation to educate our children.
It's in our Constitution, and they are not honoring our Constitution and fulfilling our requirements as part of this Constitution. And it's been in place for a whole lot of years. So you think they'd understand what we have to do to fulfill the words in our Constitution. And that is, providing all children across the state with an equitable education. And they're not doing it.
No, and we'd love for them to take that issue seriously, Chris, but it's been so much easier to play politics with it. But when I look at, one of our very first articles at Up North News from January of 2020, January, February, featured you and others talking to the Eau Claire County Board and helping people understand this whole notion of, you're paying for two different school systems. I believe it was a resolution to recognize Private Schools Week or something like that, and to say, hey, that sounds like some routine thing. Let's put out a resolution recognizing Private Schools Week. Hey, before that happens, you should know how much they're, skimming off the top here. And seeing you in that article, I believe Julian Emerson put it together, really caught my attention and helped other people understand. I hope you appreciate the difference that you've helped make for getting people to understand and expose what's happening with our tax dollars that aren't going to our public schools the way they should.
Pat, thank you for bringing that up. But I just want to say that 2 years ago when this all started, you got in your car and you came down to South Milwaukee. Tom McCarthy from the Department of Public Instruction was doing a session on funding. And you walked in that door and sat in that room, and I was monitoring the computer, watching the whole room with you in it. And I'll never forget my realization that the questions were deeper, the room was more full, and you were there to represent a voice for across Wisconsin as part of civic media. And we've done 63 pages of planning over the several last years.
Yes,
and
we have. Yep.
We just keep adding to the Google Doc. And it's people like you and other people in that room that have taken this on, and we are in a different place. It's still hard work, and we still have a lot of work to do. But if we have each other, I think we're going to hopefully be okay.
And we do, and we will. And again, my deep appreciation goes right back to all of you as well. We're trying to do our best to serve our state in this way. And I cannot wait to see what we're going to be up to next. So Chris Hambuch-Boyle, Heather DuBois Bourenane, Denise Gomer-Hutchison, Bryn Horton, Camden Hargrove. Thank you. This was a very nice surprise. The most pleasant ambush I could have wanted for a day like today. Happy holidays to all of you, and we'll talk again real soon.
Thanks, Pat.
All right.
Take
Thanks
care,
so
y'all.
much,
Thanks,
Pat.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Earl Ingram's coming up right after the 8 o'clock news, so stick around. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We're in break, you wonderful people. Thank you. I like the ones, the night owls, they quickly were gone. Like, nope, back to bed. That's it. So
I really wanted to mention, Pat, your wonderful way of using your amazing sarcasm within how you.
Well, that's the first time that's ever been said.
Every time you do that, and it kind of rings true, I'm going, yeah, say that again. So thank you for that as well.
See, Parker, see, I can use my sarcasm for good, not evil.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, see?
Parker, it's a good thing. Yeah.
See how well I've taught him? Great. Thanks, you guys, so much. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for everything. Excited to find out what you're doing next. We'll talk to you soon.
So am I. All right. We'll talk to you after the new year. See ya.
Take care.
Bye. Yep. Thanks. Bye.
I got to figure out how to get out of here now.
You got this. All right.
It's just that red button down there,
Yeah,
Chris.
just that red button with the little arrow. There you go.
The jolly candy-like red button.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. There you go.
It's a Ren and Stimpy reference. What's up, guys?
Same old.
I watch a lot of cartoons, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to top that conversation. I mean,
yeah,
that was
a great conversation. I was streaming it before, and I'm like, yeah, this is the coming down point.
No. And of course, and CJ, we see you out there doing CJ things. He just puts on the text line. This is boring. Sure, buddy.
That was not actually meant for our show, and I can tell you that because when I click on his chats, he sent it to us, and then 1 minute later, he sent it to John and Gordy's show.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. Well, good.
Nice.
Yeah. Never change. That's all I can say about that.
Ooh, he's called John and Gordy since.
Okay. It's a slow week. I don't have much more here, so we're just gonna kick it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's only the last time I get to do this, so
Yeah. So we've got. Let's just sum up the entire year in sports. Right.
Just sum up sports. Sports are happening.
Yep.
Sports.
We already did that though. To sum up the year in sports, you just played the theme from MASH. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's
a lot of
the thing.
sadness right now.
Yeah. But
It could be worse. You could be a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. We've got volleyball. We got River Falls.
Yeah, Parker,
football.
that's me. That's me,
no,
Parker.
When's the River Falls game? Who are they playing?
They play Saturday noon. Johns Hopkins.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Fighting Scrubs. That's right.
Yep. So that should be that's amazing that they made it this far. Actually, I just talked to
30 seconds left in a break.
I just talked to River Falls coach this week, and he's feeling confident as he should.
He's
a great team he's got.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Here we go. I was really not expecting 6 people on that call there, and it was very nice of them, but I got so discombobulated that I failed to mention, and want to make sure I mention it here, that long before I was advocating for public education on the civic media airwaves, Todd Alba was doing the same thing. And you can't mention the Wisconsin Public Education Network and the work they do without the advocacy of Todd, a wonderful friend. And, we will be finding other fun things to do together that, again, do all that we can to preserve and strengthen public education in our schools. On behalf of all the educators and all the school board members, people like Jimmy Kuska, who joins us mostly to talk sports, but you still have your fair share of other school duties as well.
Yeah, just had a school board meeting this week, in fact, and going through a lot of the board materials ahead of both the state education convention and then obviously the deadlines for referendums in the state. It's going to be a pretty big year for referendums again. I know people are opening up property tax bills right now, and there's some sticker shock there for some communities. But schools cost money, and they're certainly valuable to have for communities. I know that for the rural districts like the ones that I live in and the one that I'm on a school board for. There's not a whole lot of mechanisms you can use to make sure that schools are funded, kids are taught, special education IEPs are taken care of. Like there's a lot that goes into schools that goes far beyond, all the common arguments of, there's too many administrators. Well, you need a couple, there's a lot of staff and a lot of things that got to get done. So,
it's so much easier to say that, when you're above it all, like, you have too many administrators. And yet you put in all these mandates that somebody has to manage and track, that it really, let's not overcomplicate things. It's a lazy legislature, lazy, leadership in the legislature. And we know who's leading it, saying we don't have to hold up our end of the bargain. We'd rather, send tax dollars to private schools. And so I'm glad we've been able to shine a light on that and hope more people understand what I've said a million times. If you don't like all these referendums, say yes to the referendum, say no to the legislators who made it that we have to have all these referendums. And Jimmy, thank you again for agreeing to serve on a school board. It is one of the more thankless jobs that are out there, but thanks for stepping up and doing that.
Well, and I appreciate all the advocacy for public education as well, because that's what I grew up in, and that's what my kids are in, and it's certainly valuable to everybody in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Let's turn our attention to sports here. And I mean, if you're looking for a big story in sports, we'll get to the Badger volleyball team in just a bit, national semifinals tomorrow. But you actually got to start with the football squad at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. They're going to be playing this weekend.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Matt Walker, and he's like, "Thanks, buddy. I think we can do it." He's feeling pretty confident going into Saturday's game. I'm pretty excited for it. This is by far the best team in the WIAC this year. I got to watch the film of their game against Platteville as prep for some of my other broadcasts this year, and it's amazing just the trajectory of UW River Falls. The Falcons were, kind of at the bottom of the WIAC for a number of years, even under Coach Walker. This is a program that when I was in high school, we used to go to their wishbone camp. The Pottinger wishbone camps, learning how to play wishbone quarterback. It's a lot different now. They run a full-on spread, 90 plays a game. They call it the Top Gun offense, and they've broken virtually every record you can break at this point. WIAC records broken this year as well. They are a juggernaut, and they are in the national semifinals for the first time, playing Saturday against Johns Hopkins. I got to tell you, I've followed this conference for so long. This is one of my favorite stories that I've gotten to follow and not necessarily be a part of, but I was there when they won the Isthmus Bowls the first 2 years, which is what really jump-started this run for the last few years. And I think for them, I think just for Wisconsin in general, having so many different college football teams come out of the WIAC, make these deep runs, whether it's Whitewater or Oshkosh or whoever, it's just incredible.
So if they beat Johns Hopkins, I believe the Fighting Scrubs, they're called, whatever it is, and they go to what's the national final? It's what is it?
It's the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl, which is on January 4th, and it would likely be against the defending national champion North Central. That's based in Naperville, so that is something maybe that could happen in a couple of weeks. But
is that a neutral site game? Or
yes, it would be neutral site. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be in Canton, Ohio, I believe, this year.
Yes,
at the
Hall of Fame.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so we will be wishing all the best to River Falls this weekend against Johns Hopkins. So now we go to the Badger women's volleyball team, which they also are in a national semifinal, and that will take place tomorrow in Kansas City against Kentucky. I'm imagining that's ESPN, right? And then I think if they make it to the final, the national championship match on Sunday, that's ABC, if I'm not mistaken. So either way, a little national exposure for the Badger women.
Yeah, and I'm excited too because my good friend John Audius, who's their radio broadcaster, who's actually joining us on our Saturday show, the one that Parker and I do on Make the Call. We'll have a chance to talk to him a bit, but it is really cool because this was kind of a reloading year for the Badgers. This wasn't supposed to be the year they make the run, and here they are with a Player of the Year candidate, and they're sitting right here in the Final Four. Why not win it? I love the T-shirts this week too. I can't say that on the air; I'll get in trouble.
Oh,
the
no.
T-shirts are great.
Okay, well, I guess I know what I'm Googling during the news over here. That's fine. But, again, it wasn't supposed to be their year. We said that about the Brewers too. Enjoy the run and, keep your fingers crossed. And hopefully this one results in going a little bit further than the baseball team did. There's that other basketball team, the Bucks. They host Toronto tomorrow. And then, of course, you've got the Packers playing on Saturday night against the Bears. And you've got the Badger men's basketball team taking on Villanova at a tournament in Milwaukee on Friday at 6:30 is when coverage begins across the Civic Media Radio Network. So there's definitely things we're going to have to pay attention to over the next few days here. It's not a big crowded sports calendar, but these are some pretty important matches.
Yep, a lot of fun. And Pat, before I go, non-sports related, I want to thank you for having me be a part of this. You've meant a lot as someone to work with here at Civic, and obviously with your work in the Chippewa Valley, where I grew up. I just greatly appreciate being able to be a colleague of yours here at Civic Media. I really hope that what you do next is just amazing.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, and to talk to somebody so well-rounded, whether it's about sports, education, everything else, Jimmy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later. And again, coming up after the 8 o'clock news, we'll talk to Earl Ingram. Melissa Baldoff has our climate check, and much more. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. All right. There we go. Thank you, Jimmy. That was
very
kind.
How cool it is for me being a kid out of the trailer parks of Cadott to get to work with both Judy Clark and Pat Kreitlow. Like, holy, I mean, it's like 8-year-old me is just like
8-year-old you is
or
making
18-year-old. I don't
making
know.
61-year-old me feel even older. That's great.
1,000-year-old you. No,
Yep,
I'm kidding.
yep.
I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Have a good Christmas.
Yep, you too.
Talk
Take
to you
care.
later. All right. Thankfully, if I'm ever feeling 61, I can turn to this guy who's 71, and he can make me feel really good about myself. So, how's Earl today?
That response, man. I don't feel a day older than 71. But
see, that's good.
Yeah, but it's good to see you.
Thank you. I always joke about when you go to McDonald's in the morning, any McDonald's, there's a group of old guys sitting there drinking their coffee.
Yes.
And I learned for the first time last week that there's actually some older guys in the neighborhood, and by older, I now mean my age, who gather on Wednesday nights at a local watering hole. And they kind of welcomed me in last week. I finally crossed the barrier that I get to sit around on Wednesday nights and have a beverage with these guys. So I feel like I've crossed a rite of passage, which works for me.
Wisdom doesn't always come with age, but if you find wisdom and age married, that's a good place to be sitting.
That's an awesome place to be sitting.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
All right. What do you want to get into today?
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about is I did a podcast with a Muslim guy, and the reason I did it is because the older I get, the more I realize I don't want to separate myself from other human beings, and so we need to start having dialogue and conversations with human beings, not with Christians and Muslims, not with blacks and whites, not with males and females, but with human beings. And I think that, that's really an important part of all of this. And we can sit down and have a conversation with each other as human beings. We could change the dynamic of what the world is.
We sure could. I can't imagine a better message. So, all right. Well, let's get into that in 3.5 minutes then.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
This is 26.5 cents per gallon lower than a month ago and over 25 cents lower than this time last year. According to Gas Buddy officials, this is the third straight week of the national gas price average falling. It was at $2.85 on Monday, which is the lowest level we've seen the national average since March 12, 2021. They say the downward trend may continue as we close out the year.
On average, right now in Dane County, a gallon of regular will cost you $2.51. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
Marquette basketball tonight. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Men's college hoops. The Marquette Golden Eagles play the Georgetown Hoyas tonight in Milwaukee at Fiserv Forum. At 5-6, the Golden Eagles trying to bounce back after getting beat by 20 points against number 6 ranked Purdue. The Bucks at home tomorrow night. They'll host the Toronto Raptors at 7 o'clock. NFL. It's the Packers and Bears Saturday night in Chicago. I'll have coverage from Soldier Field. Matt LaFleur says despite injuries and losing Micah Parsons for the season, Green Bay could have beat the Broncos Broncos.
There's so many plays throughout the course of a game. When you're playing good football teams, it could be a couple plays that truly make the difference. And there was multiple opportunities, I felt like, from a defensive standpoint, where we had ops to get the ball back, or where we had them in situations, it's 3rd and 13, they just try to get the ball out of their hand, they gain 12 yards, they go for it on 4th and 1 with QB sneak, they extend the drive, they go down and score.
That's the Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow, falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 29.
Aho, this is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we share stories from Turtle Island highlighting the people and issues shaping our communities. From protecting water to treaty rights and preserving languages and traditions, we cover it all. Hear voices like Arvina Martin of Emerge, Wisconsin, Dr. Stately, Robert Lilligren, and more. Because Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local civic media radio station.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities.
Don't forget 30 seconds.
Okay.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. It is 8:06. It is nice to have you along. It's a Wednesday morning, December 17th, 2025. Parker Olson producing things in Madison. Earl Ingram is standing by. And later this hour, the final chapter of Pigeon Quest with our friend Melissa Kay from our Civic Media station in Wisconsin Rapids. Melissa visited with us a lot on Wednesday mornings earlier in the year, and along with sharing local headlines, also her own quest to secure a rescue pigeon. And yeah, we learned rescue pigeons are a thing, and Melissa told us all about that. And so we're going to get a little update on Lilu and how things have worked out on that front before we wrap things up for today. Melissa Baldoff, who has our climate check, will be joining us as well. And again, a reminder that we will be having a lot of highlight shows from 2025 starting next Monday for the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's, with a little new content sprinkled in there as well. So you'll want to continue listening well after we wrap things up here for the full 3-hour live shows after this Friday. Earl Ingram's going to join us in a sec from the What's Going On podcast with Earl Ingram. And we're going to talk a bit about better relations and understanding with our Muslim friends and neighbors. But I don't want to in any way besmirch the segment with Earl, so I'm going to share these ugly words ahead of time, and that way Earl can take it from there and talk about, the angels of our better nature on his podcast. But in the wake of the attack on a Jewish gathering in Australia, we heard some of the ugliest language from some of the biggest bigots in Congress, including Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama and Congressman Randy Fine of Florida, who, again, just basically said some terribly heinous things. Congressman Fine said that it's time for a Muslim travel ban, radical deportations of all mainstream Muslim legal and illegal immigrants, and citizenship revocations wherever possible. Mainstream Muslims, he said, have declared war on us. The least we can do is kick them the hell out of America. And then there was Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, who said, quote, Islam is not a religion, it's a cult. Islamists aren't here to assimilate, they're here to conquer. We've got to, in all capital letters, send them home now, or we'll become the United Caliphate of America. Why am I sharing these ugly words with you? Because there's too many people that get complacent about these kinds of things and say, oh, things are fine. So just some people say a few things. These are members of Congress. And I've said over and over again, if I could, I would have those bigots deported in a heartbeat. And I would bring in 10 other people from Somalia or any place else, Mexico, wherever, who would work so much harder than they would and have such greater understanding and build our country better than those two clowns ever could. Earl Ingram's been doing something about that, and now having gotten the ugly words out of the way, let's welcome in Earl Ingram to talk about the What's Going On podcast and the much better dialogue that he has about it on his program. Earl, good morning. How are you?
I'm always fine, Pat, when I get a chance to converse with you, because I think, when you get to a point in your life where you start realizing that people who want to separate people, the problem is with them, it's not with people. And those hurtful and hateful words that were espoused by those congressmen, and first let me say that anybody who loses their life through the horrific man's inhumanity to man and what took place in Australia, is not right, is wrong. But to categorize an entire group of people, we've had people inside of our nation who have committed atrocities towards American people, Americans. And so we don't categorize the entire American population as, we're all horrible and we all should suffer and burn in hell. That's not what we do. But then how do we turn around and categorize a whole group of people based on one person or two people who go off the rails? One of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast with the Muslims, especially the Ahmadiyya movement of Islam, they're a group of Muslims in this country who spend a lot of time, effort, and money trying to change and work with the issues that impact and affect the community in which I live. I've watched them over the years, protracted over the years, in the work that they do. But for heaven's sakes, Pat, to categorize an entire group of people is one of the reasons why Jewish people suffered, unfortunately, the fate that they suffered from the Germans. Same kind of thought process. The reason African Americans suffered the way they suffered in this country, same kind of process. Pat, when do we break that? And we have to do that individually in our own spirits and in our own hearts. That's where it begins.
Without a doubt. And so, Earl, you did an episode that's called Muslim Truths, and you were joined by, is it Ali Murtaza?
Yes, sir.
From a Muslim group in Milwaukee, talking about confronting stereotypes about the Muslim faith, and talking about encouraging listeners to basically build awareness, to promote dialogue, recognize the shared values. And shared values is something that you and I have talked about a lot. When I came into the legislature from a mostly rural district, and the first people that I really got to know were legislators from the Milwaukee area, and realizing the things that we had in common were some lower income communities where all kids needed was a good education and a fair break and create some jobs. And you had, in a place where everybody wanted to throw mud at each other, you instead had us trying to build bridges and do things together And it's no different than when we're talking about the religious faiths of our world, is that if we could put down the mud for a little bit and actually understand what we have in common, we could actually be productive members of society instead of contributing to, all the slop that's going on out there.
No, Pat, it couldn't have been said any better, because where we have to begin is in the mirror. We have to begin looking at ourselves and ask yourself, am I being a part of this? You have to change it. I think Michael Jackson said it best: if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Start with the man in the mirror.
That's right.
This life is too short, and to waste it on hatred and separation. We've got to get beyond that. And I was told, man, why would you run the risk of having or doing something like that? And I said, well, it's not a risk, and that's the problem. Why is it a risk to have dialogue with your fellow human beings, Pat? I don't understand that. I've never understood that. We weren't plotting an overthrow of the government. We were having a conversation about what we have in common, and that's humanity.
Yeah, I mean, look, we want to work hard. We want our kids to be safe and to get educated. We want a government that provides us, with certain freedoms. That is not to say that we don't have, different viewpoints that might be rooted in our religion, but the same way we might have different viewpoints that are rooted in other cultural values or things like that. And there's such a difference between the people that want to divide based on religion versus the people that want to learn more about our shared humanity. And there are people like that in Milwaukee and in other places around Wisconsin, just as they are around the world. And so, yeah, I won't be a bit surprised if you get a little blowback to a show like this, because it's a lot easier for angry people to go out there and send a nasty note or something like that when there's, 10 or 100 other people who just quietly say, thank you, that's cool, thank you for doing a show like that.
Pat, believe it or not, I've been married to the same woman for 43, going on 44 years. We don't always agree, right?
No.
I mean, it's human nature, and so we've got to heal the wounds, and we can't fix things unless we start within ourselves, within our own spirits. I want to say to you before we get out of here, man, it's been a great experience to have conversation and dialogue with you. Again, as someone who doesn't know much about northern Wisconsin, who's lived in the state my entire life, I've been able to basically, through the prism of listening to your show off the air at times and others, get a perspective that is open and honest. And you don't always get that. So I don't know who decided to bring us together, but whoever did, they did a wonderful thing, and I appreciate it.
Well, as do I, Earl, because, again, I think one of the things that you really value in your shows is dialogue or discourse, just getting to know each other. And so much of what is on radio and basic cable today involves people just basically talking past each other. And one of the things that, I noticed about you from the very beginning was this whole notion of having a constructive dialogue, which means sometimes you shut your yap and you just listen to people for a while and then, ask them the questions that you think are going to help your listeners understand, as your podcast says, what's going on. So, I mean, you and I both joke off the air about, the kind of advancing in age a little bit here, but whether it's on the radio or through podcasts or whatever, I hope the both of us get to continue for a long time having these kinds of dialogues with important people that can educate our community more. It's just a real honor to be doing that alongside you.
I will certainly concur with you on that and do everything within my power to continue our dialogue and conversation. I think it's critically important that we have these kinds of open dialogues and the forums that you certainly have access to make that possible.
Well, thank you, Earl. Again, that means a lot. So before we go, we got a minute left here. So I mean, we heard all about the. I learned so much about turkey prep from Thanksgiving. what's the big plan for Christmas?
Well, I'm going to do a lot of different things. Listen, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed cooking, and I really do. I found it later in life. It's pleasurable. When you can, because you have to love it, right? And I've learned to love making people happy with what you produce. Yeah. And so when I'm cooking, I put myself and my love into it and give it the best that I can to hopefully satisfy people. And that's there's nothing more important in life than that, Pat, satisfying people.
Absolutely. You can satisfy them at the table, or you can satisfy them through a show like Earl's, the What's Going On podcast. Head over to civicmedia.us, click on shows, and get it there. Earl, it's been an honor. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you.
You as well. Take it easy.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care now. All right. Still on the way. Melissa Baldoff has our climate check and one more edition of Pigeon Quest. Before we wrap things up on a Wednesday morning, I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Go. All right. Let's see. How's Melissa besides heavenly? You're kind of angelic there with that lights. It's,
yeah, kind of.
yeah,
just crappy lighting in this room. That's all.
Okay. That's okay. Well, we got to get you one of those computer stands. I'm just digging mine out here. But
I know.
Of course, I've loaded it full of
set
stuff.
up, but
This thing has saved me when I'm on the road. This thing has saved me so much to be able to adjust it and have the camera straight on,
That's nice.
Now, you can't type on it because then it looks like you're in an earthquake situation. But if you ever need it just for the camera.
Just for the elevation, right?
Yes, the elevation helps a ton. And a lot more stable than a stack of books, as I've found out the hard way from time to time here. All right, so we're good to go here. We got about 90 seconds. So let me go look at those notes, and I'll see you in a bit.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
We are sneaking up on 8:23 now on this Wednesday morning. It's December 17th, 2025. Melissa Baldoff is here for one more weekly climate check. And, there's been a common theme throughout all of this, not just about the climate itself, but about your wallet and the impact on it. The main takeaways are that, there are things that are costing you more money. There are some things that are still out there that can cost you a little less money. But by and large, Melissa, this has been a year where the climate of your wallet has taken a beating almost as much as the climate itself because of the change in who's in the White House this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is one of those things where, this was avoidable. This was we told you so. This was they effed around and now they're finding out, right? Like what is happening is exactly what everybody cautioned would happen, that we would take a system that was already under stress and make it a whole lot worse with the actions that this administration has taken. So we are, seeing exactly what we thought we would see. And it's unfortunate that the people who are paying the price are, just folks who are already feeling pinched because, grocery bills are higher. They're not getting any relief on the horizon on their healthcare costs going up. And now they're going to be paying a whole lot more for their electric bills.
Yes, they are. There's a new report by Climate Power, a climate advocacy organization, noting that electric bills have increased 13% this year on average nationwide, in part because of that mega bill that Trump signed, which, removed assistance for a lot of cheaper and cleaner energy sources while funding new tax breaks for oil and gas industries. And I mean, Melissa, we saw it. There was this very specific point in the campaign where Donald Trump said to all these oil executives, you should give me $1 billion in campaign contributions, and I'm going to give you so much more back. And that's what happened. And that's what happened in terms of the rollbacks that we've seen this year and the lost opportunities. Like you said, none of this is a mystery.
Right. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And I believe that the estimates were that before the bill were that cost would go up about 11%. So seeing 13%, confirms that, the experts were right. They knew that. It turns out they knew what they were talking about. So, we know that, utility costs are higher, but we're also losing a whole bunch of jobs by removing these clean energy sources as options. But we know that we're giving big tax breaks to those oil and gas companies that enriched Donald Trump. One thing I thought was really, stood out to me from the study was about the projects that were canceled or delayed since Trump's election. Those have led to a loss of just under 25,000 megawatts of planned energy generation, which could have powered more than 13 million homes. So that is a really significant loss of planned energy generation that could have been supporting our grid and helping more homes afford their energy bills. So it's really unfortunate that that we saw, such a loss of clean energy.
Melissa Baldoff is here with our weekly climate check. On the positive side of things, there are still ways in which dollars are available to help people with things like home energy assistance. The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program has begun making payments again to help out a whole lot of households. So affordability, of course, is as much an issue as ever, and more so for families. But at least we know that, some Wisconsin households are getting the assistance to be able to keep their houses warm this winter.
Exactly. This is a really important program, and it's one that helps people really save a significant amount of money. Just under 200,000 households will receive assistance to pay their utility bills, which is really significant. And, the season for this officially began on November 1st, but the shutdown meant that Wisconsin didn't get those funds right away. But the program is going now. So far, more than $40 million in payments have been made to support more than 63,000 households. So, but the applications are still open for people to get them in if they need that support, see if they're eligible for this. The eligibility is based on, a number of factors, including, household income and size, what the energy costs look like in the home. But if people are curious if they're eligible, they can go check that out at energybenefit.wi.gov and find out if they're eligible and what they can do. And then, another thing I just want to point out too is that the energy efficiency rebate program that we have here in Wisconsin through Focus on Energy, that is still open, that is still available. And people can, get support to find out ways to make their home more energy efficient, which will also reduce their utility bills.
All right. Melissa Baldoff is here with our climate check. We will continue the conversation in just a little bit here. And then later, Melissa Kay from our civic media station in Wisconsin Rapids will talk to us a bit more about her quest to secure a rescue pigeon. And then, of course, tomorrow we have Joe Zepecki on with us. And then Friday we wrap things up with our regular wonderful Week in Review panel and Dr. Kristen Lyerly as well. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, so this is the 5-minute break, but I thought we would just briefly touch on the judge throwing out the wind development, wind energy one. And then before we go, do you want to throw your politics hat back on? Because I was then going to kind of recap the Vanity Fair Susie Wiles thing. Do you want to say anything about that, about how ill-advised it would be for a chief of staff to talk to Vanity Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, like I said, this is the longer break, so I'm going to go grab some coffee and we'll get this going in 4 minutes.
It doesn't address the underlying problems, and really the big one is increased costs. And many of those costs are associated with these tariffs. So higher prices for machinery, for crop inputs.
We're still waiting to hear a lot of details about this relief package. Payment rates for this new aid are not public yet. Farmers who grow certain crops will be eligible: corn, wheat, soybeans, cotton, rice, sugar, and some other fruits and vegetables. But Lilliston says it's frustrating beef and dairy producers aren't included. They're facing higher costs just like everybody else. The Trump administration insists these payments will help address farmers' rising expenses. But Lilliston says if 2026 is filled with more market headaches and if a new farm bill isn't negotiated and passed, more emergency payments may be needed next fall. And that's a situation farmers do not want to be in.
They are price takers in the marketplace, meaning they don't get to set their prices. And they have certain costs that they have to cover. They don't have much power. And they would much rather have that system work better for them rather than having to get money from Washington.
Farmers should have their acreage reporting accurate by 4 p.m. this Friday at the very latest if they qualify. The relief payments are expected to be released by March 1st. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
Our lakes are gorgeous. Just don't swim in them. 92.7 WMDX, keeping Madison honest. One broadcast at a time.
Mostly sunny today. Our high right around 36 this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy with some light rain developing after midnight. And then tomorrow, showers before noon. Then rain will mix with snow, falling temperatures through the afternoon as well. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 30.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every weekday right here on Civic Media for the Tom Hartman program from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Covering the news of the day and sharing ways for you to get off the sidelines and get active in your community, because change starts with you. Get involved and tune in to the Tom Hartman program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong, Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Pete Schwaba. On the next Nightlight, I welcome Civic Media weatherman Mace Michaels, Madison film critic Rob Thomas talks Avatar, then photographer James Netz talks Christmas in Hayward. Let's light it up.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 5 to 8 p.m.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
And now Parker's elevator music.
Okay, maybe not elevator music, maybe more like tiki bar, but
that worked.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Yeah, 20 seconds till we're back.
Nice to have you back here on a Wednesday morning. It's December 17th. I'm Pat Kreitlow up here in Chippewa Falls. Parker Olson producing things down in Madison. Melissa Baldoff joining us to talk a little climate, talk a little politics as well on this Wednesday. Melissa, as we've been talking about climate issues and the impact of this administration, it feels like we've been playing a lot of whack-a-mole, in that you've got a president and an administration that are trying all these different ways to cut things that are beneficial for our energy usage, things that are beneficial to the climate. And some of these things he gets away with, but then other things, courts are able to kind of reel things back in, including a recent ruling by a federal judge throwing out a Trump order that would have blocked the development of wind energy. So, sometimes it's like 2 steps back, 1 step forward. We have to take the little court victories where we can get them.
Exactly. Because I'll say, it's so wonderful to see a court, actually doing its job and, being that other, that check on executive power that they are supposed to be. Because when we look at the U.S. Supreme Court, they seem to just be willing to rubber stamp anything Donald Trump wants to do. But obviously they don't take up every case. They can't do everything. So it is really encouraging when we see the court at lower levels doing their jobs and being that check on the executive branch when they are doing things that are unconstitutional, unlawful.
That's right. This is Judge Patty Saris of the U.S. District Court for Massachusetts, who vacated one of Trump's day one orders that blocked wind energy projects and deemed that executive order unlawful. Massachusetts was one of several states involved in this, saying that they had invested hundreds of millions of dollars in offshore wind and have now protected those investments against the Trump administration's unlawful order. Now, again, this isn't the end of the road. It could be repealed from there. But it really gets to the heart, Melissa, of something we've talked about here, that, the federal government has a lot of power. It can do a lot of things for good or for bad. But because of the way our government is set up, states have wide latitude to do things as well, to make their own investments. And there's times when the federal government has to leave the states alone and let them do the things that they want to do to, create jobs and cleaner energy sources.
Yeah, exactly. As the costs go up, we know that we need more energy sources, and states should have that ability to determine what is going to be the right fit for their constituents. So this is, I do think, a little bit of a bright spot for us, and it's good to see that we're going to hopefully have folks who are still fighting for clean energy.
Melissa Baldofficer, and I've really appreciated being able to visit with you to talk about climate issues. And then sometimes we can take a little extra time and just have you put your political strategist hat on and talk about things that are in the news. And you've worked in the state capitol. I've certainly worked in the state capitol. We've met a lot of people that are either formally a chief of staff or informally a chief of staff. It's a very important role. So when you see, the kerfuffle that's going on in D.C. right now, because Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, had not one, not two, but 11 on-the-record interviews with Vanity Fair, posed for some glamour shots with other members of the administration, and said all of these things that about her boss and about other cabinet members. None of them make them look good. And now they're all in denial, but not actually denying any of the things because she said them on the record. I don't know any chief of staff in that building in Madison that would do something so, shall we say, ill-advised?
I would say ill-advised. Certainly as a somebody who's been a communications director and strategist, I would advise against this. Yes. So this is really, I think, incredible insight into, what is happening on the inside of this administration. And, some of it really shows that what people assume is correct is correct. So I think it's quite the peek behind the curtain into what's going on. And really, I think she said what she was really feeling, and quite the interview, quite the amount of information that came out of it. So yeah, this is something else.
Well, and you and I both have either been in positions or been around people who've been in positions to say, I don't think that's a good idea. Whether it's about talking to a particular reporter or saying something out loud. And so it's so unique to see this kind of circumstance here. Of course, only this administration could do something in Vanity Fair like this, and then seem to think that they can just say, well, it was a hit piece. Well, no, it's 11 interviews recorded on the record. It's Wonderland,
Yeah, it's quite something to, have the president's chief of staff go on the record to say that the billionaire they brought in to drastically overhaul the government is an avowed ketamine user. Yes. So, I mean, that's just like the tip of the iceberg here. Yeah. Of what she said here.
Yeah, and so much more that will continue to get talked about for a while, and then maybe it'll blow over. Who knows? But in my frame of mind, every peek behind the curtain helps a few more people understand that this is not necessarily what a lot of Americans voted for. Melissa Baldoff, thanks for a little of your own professional expertise, and thanks again for all the climate checks. And we'll talk to you and Joe Zepecki next week. Do a little end of the year look back on things.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. Have a great day.
You too.
You bet. So as I just look at this, if you missed it, these are some of the things that Susie Wiles said. Susie Wiles said that her boss has, quote, an alcoholic's personality. Now, keep in mind, Trump doesn't drink, never has. But Susie Wiles' father was the famous sportscaster Pat Summerall, who also was a notorious drinker. And so she said she recognizes that same kind of personality, a person who has a view of himself as someone who can do no wrong. I would contend it maybe actually works the other way around, that she's got the personality of the child of an alcoholic, or in my case, the grandchild of an alcoholic, where you kind of overlook all of their faults because you want them to love you. You're always trying to please them. And I think of everything she said, that might explain why, even though she's offered all kinds of advice that wasn't taken, she sticks around. She said that she warned Trump not to pardon the most violent of the January 6th rioters. She described Russell Vought, the budget director, the guy behind Project 2025, as a right-wing absolute zealot, said that J.D. Vance is, in fact, a conspiracy theorist, criticized Elon Musk for killing the international aid programs that had been keeping children and adults alive in impoverished countries around the world. She acknowledged on the record that Trump is engaged in political persecutions, abusing the judicial system to pursue criminal charges against political enemies despite no crimes being committed. She criticized Trump's Attorney General, Pam Bondi, saying that she had botched the Epstein Files case. And still, after this came out, after the article came out, and some people said, well, no, she didn't really say things like that. The Vanity Fair writer, Chris Whipple, said, here's the audio. These were recorded interviews, 11 of them. And other people in the administration talked to Vanity Fair. And then they posed for the fancy photographs that Vanity Fair is known for. And the response from MAGA world has been to attack the report and to attack the writer, even though they could not point to anything that was not factual. Tom in Hartford on the text line says, it seems to me it was done on purpose. It was done to make people seem more real, more human, that humans make mistakes. Perhaps, but I mean, if the mistakes are political persecutions and releasing the violent January 6th insurrectionists, I mean, that's not just showing a human side. That's actually showing, in my estimation, a less human side. And it doesn't really compute that they would do this on purpose for any reason other than to get the bad blood out of the way. At some point they said, you know what? We all hate each other in this White House, but we're here, we're in power, we get to do things. So even though we hate each other, let's get that out of our system. Let's have a public bloodletting, and then everybody can laugh at us for a day or two. And then we'll just go back to doing the things that we like because we get a big fat paycheck. It makes us famous and it helps out, all of our big donors. That's the only explanation that really makes sense, to have something this dysfunctional purposefully shared on the record with a reporter. J.D. Vance said the lesson is that they should give fewer interviews to reporters because, being more secretive is good for democracy. This is my view. These are just bad people. These aren't people where we just have a fundamental disagreement on politics and policy. We talk about this a lot. We should be able to have conversations when we disagree and find a way forward. But this isn't about that. These are people who are going along with a man who chooses tyranny over freedom, who is seeking to beef up an aristocracy, someone who has broken untold promises to create jobs and prosperity. If any of them had a shred of honor, they would have used the opportunity of the interviews to express contrition and resign. But they know that if they embrace unified denial and simply attack the person who held up a mirror to them, they will get past this. Whether Americans allow it to keep happening is up to every one of you in every one of your conversations that you have with family and friends, especially those who have voted for Trump once, twice, maybe even 3 times, but may not vote along with him next year when it comes to the midterm elections. Now, when we come back, we'll visit with our friend Melissa Kay from our station in Wisconsin Rapids, which I add parenthetically marked its 80th anniversary this year. And I think the official anniversary was last month. It was so nice to spend some time there this summer as part of that celebration. So Melissa tells us from time to time what's happening out there in WFHR world in the heart of Wisconsin, but also in her own life as well. We have got to catch up on Lilu the Pigeon, and we will do that coming up in just a bit. And then that's followed by Matt Nair on Air with a couple of great guests coming up later this morning as well. Amanda Latham from the Rural Roadshow Weather and Eve Galanter, founder of Civic Games. That's all coming up with Greg Bach after 9 o'clock. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. She's back. She's back. She's back.
Hello.
Hello.
It's so good to see you both. I've missed you.
You too. Oh, we've missed you as well. So how are things?
Things.
You have a new play coming up.
I do. I'm really excited about that.
A little
I'm working hard on my lines because you know what? It's just not enough hours in the day.
No, there's
but
not.
I really worked really hard on scene 6 last night, which is my fight scene.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
This is a serious drama. There's a lot of language and a lot of tense moments. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very.
I don't do that in real life. I love to do it on stage.
It is. It's great escapism. So that's wonderful. Okay. Well, good.
I don't know if you can see Lilu behind me. They're on the shelf.
Let's see.
Probably really hard to see them. Right beside that picture. They kind of blend in.
You do kind of blend in, but you're there.
They're there.
Wow.
Their favorite spot.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And you wrote a little article about it, right? Or did you do a little report?
It was just an audio story for
audio
Lisa's
story?
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I did all the sound and everything. I had to go out to my car to get the door slam with my recorder at like 10:30 at night. Like,
perfect.
I need a door slam.
It sounded awesome. That was a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're in good shape here. So we're going to get going in just over 90 seconds. I will be back in a bit.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
You see how I get abused here now with you gone, Melissa? This is what I have to put up with. Kids barking orders at me now. Pigeon Quest! Oh, it's back.
We're
back,
baby.
And so is Melissa Kay from Wisconsin Rapids. Melissa, it's so good to see you again.
It is so good to see you both.
Oh my goodness. Like every work site, sometimes conditions change, working hours change, things like that. So we don't get to visit with Melissa nearly as much as we used to, but we get to now, which is pretty cool. So how's life in the heart of Wisconsin?
You know, it's busy. It's good. We have tons of snow right now, which it's great. And now we don't need any more. We have a nice cover.
Yes.
I've shoveled, I've flung it all in new places, and it
Mhm.
can stay there.
Yep. We'll find out more about Lilu in just a sec. But another thing that you were doing was community theater, and you have a new project right now.
Do there's a new show coming up. It's called Morning Sun, and it's just three women. There's multiple characters, but there's only 3 women in the show. 3 generations of women, and it's just kind of like the experiences that shape their lives and the different characters that come in. So I play the grandma, and then I also get to play like 3 guys and a couple kids and a couple different women. So it's very fun. It's
And
in the small theater at WRCT.
And this is not children's theater.
It is not. No,
This is very mature.
This is mature content and adult language. We'll just put it like that.
In other words, escapism for people that have to be nice on the radio all the time.
Yes. January 2nd and 3rd at 7 p.m. at WRCT in their small theater.
Okay.
So limited
And-
tickets. If we sell out, we can put in another show.
Oh, there you go. And what's the website to go to?
WRCtheatre.org, as you like to say.
Theatre, TRE.
Yes.
.org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good.
Morning Sun.
And Morning Sun is the name of it. So if you want
Yeah.
to take a look at that at WRCtheatre.org. A lot of fun.
January 2nd and 3rd. Time's a ticking. I got to memorize.
Now you just got to finish memorizing those lines, you know?
Yeah.
How's your holiday season? Do you have a busy one ahead of you?
You know, I'm going to actually be not busy for a change, which is cool. I was hanging out with some friends for Christmas Day and then planning to try to catch up on my house because it's a good thing this is all you can see right now.
Thank you for cleaning up the camera range. Yes.
You're
exactly.
welcome. I didn't actually, but this covers whatever that is over there. So we're fine.
Oh, well, that's fine. But there behind you is the cage of Lilu. I shouldn't say the cage, the home of Lilu, the pigeon, the rescue pigeon.
I mean, it is a dog kennel cage, whatever you want to call it.
Well, you know, it's
And sometimes they have to. Yes, a loving home.
All right.
Remember how I said they don't escape?
Yes.
Well, they escaped.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
They decided yesterday. They knew I was coming on your show, Pat. So
I guess.
Lilu needed an update. That was exciting. And they flew out, and I had to put their pigeon pants back on again.
Oh, no. The pigeon pants are back.
Wait, the
Yeah.
pigeon pants are on? I don't know if we have talked to you since they've gone on.
Yes, I've had to put them on 3 times before yesterday. And then they wouldn't fly out of their cage area because they knew they'd have to put the pants on.
Oh.
But they must have forgot.
You know,
because it's been
Lilu's not the
several
first
weeks.
one to think that pants are a torture device, but it normally gets you in trouble if you wander out without them. You know, only so many of us can Winnie the Pooh it, as it were. So for folks that need a little rewind on this, Melissa, how did the saga of Lilu, how did this all begin? When did you first hear about rescue pigeons?
I wanted a pet. I have to have a pet that lives in a cage.
Okay.
And so I decided on bird because I didn't want a reptile or a fish or, you know.
I was going to say a fish in a cage. It just does not hold water the same. But yeah, I get the point. All right. So
Oh, you're the
you wanted a bird.
So I researched, and pigeons and doves are the quietest like pet birds you can have. I figured that's good. I'm on the radio a lot.
Yes.
So then I talked to my landlords because pigeons do have to come out of their cage every day because they have a big wingspan. They got to do the happy flappies to get their exercise.
Yep.
So I got that approved because I told her, like, when they're out, they will wear their pigeon pants. And she says, okay, because it's you, and I do believe your pigeon would wear the pants, you can do this. So then I found the Great Lakes Pigeon Rescue in Chicago. It took months, which, as you know, took months.
Yes.
You guys thought I was going to get robbed. I love it's
Yes.
so
Well,
fun to go back and listen
yes.
to that, Parker. You did such a great job. And then we made the transfer, and I brought Lilu home in July.
But Lilu was not originally named Lilu.
Well, their full name is Leonardo Louise Paint Bucket.
Paint
And
Bucket,
is what they
yes.
came with originally. Yes.
Okay. Now these are birds that would otherwise maybe face euthanasia or suffer
We
from
stuck
a lack of
living in a
care.
much smaller cage for
Yes.
their entire lives. Yes.
Yes, and
And
so
they said Lilu would never fly.
Mhm.
Lilu flies all the time now.
How long did it take, though, from the time Lilu got home until Lilu started flying?
You know what? I think it was mid-October.
Yeah, so it was a while.
Yeah.
But then I recall you were so pleasantly surprised.
I was. I don't know what I'm going to do about my ceiling fans in the summer, but
Oh
we're gonna
my!
figure that out
Yes,
when we
let's.
get there.
Yeah, let's not have any accidents that way. Oh my! So this has been a happy experiment.
It has.
So then the question becomes, does Lilu get a roommate at some point?
I don't know if I'm going to like that, and that's always a risk. If you get them a partner that they don't like, and then the two of them don't get along, then what?
You know what? I'm glad to hear that, because you hear the stories about cat ladies, and pretty soon something happens and there's 40 cats in the house, and I don't want them to one day just discover you in there with 40
Covered
pigeons,
in pigeon poop,
covered in pigeon poop and everything else, because the pigeon pants can only hold so much.
They really can.
So, folks, again, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a whole bunch of highlight shows, including Parker stitching together the entire saga of...
Oh no, I wasn't ready for that, Pat. I wasn't
How did you
Saga
not? There. Pigeon Quest. There you go. So you're going to want to be listening for that over the next couple of weeks. Melissa, you are a joy. Thank you so much for giving us a little epilogue on this, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Pat, and good luck.
Oh,
I'll miss you
so much. Thank you very much. Oh, you're not going to get rid of me that easily. Just in the early mornings. Parker, thank you. Thanks to all of you for being here today. Let's do 2 more of these starting tomorrow. Enjoy your Wednesday. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News, the Wisconsin outlet for Courier Newsroom, a pro-democracy news outlet. We'll see you at 6 a.m. here up north. And there we go.
Great job.